Are we live?
We are live.
Wow.
I was playing around with various OBS stuff and hadn't switched something, and so I went to switch it over, and I was like, "Oh, I need to quickly switch that." I'm a professional. I'm a professional. I know what to do.
we
Thank
we do
you,
everything
Lord
live here.
Long.
How
Thank
do you
you,
say
Lord
that?
Long, for the raid.
Thank you for the raid, friend. Welcome on in.
Lord.
Welcome to the Weird West. And I'm so excited. This is the second campaign that we are starting this week. If you missed the first episode of this, it is available on our YouTube under its own playlist because if you didn't know already, this is going to be one of our new mini campaigns. We are running this from January to April. That is going to be a 5-episode arc, and I am joined tonight by these wonderful, wonderful weirdos. Adam and Sean, you both know from Blackwater, but we are joined by two very special guests tonight. Becca, tell everybody about yourself.
Hi, I am very happy to be here. I don't play D&D enough, but I've been playing for a few years, and I love its being part of my life. I'm a master's student at UBC in oceanography. I study the motion of the ocean.
Yeah,
I love that. Yes.
I gotta ask,
I like
Becca.
to include some genuine, smart geeks
people.
Yeah,
Mhm.
with our
Smart geeks,
fantasy.
smart
Because I
geeks.
bring
here at
the average
Blackwater.
down real hard, so we got to get the. I just know stuff about games and stuff, so we got to get actual smart folk. Balance it out because M's carrying too much of the weight.
About
Um,
once per game, Adam tries to sneak in a water fact that's wrong, just to annoy me, see how I react.
You are welcome to correct him
No,
at any
that
point,
was-
and it will
that
be
was-
canon that your character
Oh
knows.
no, that was Yanis.
No, that was Yanis, because I was
Okay.
GMing. That was Yanis trying to do wrong ocean facts. But I will do that tonight if I have to. That poster behind
We're
you,
very
is that
close to the
intentional? Because
ocean.
that looks real, Wild West vibes. Was
Looks
that
wild.
Yeah, Becca. They're the
Western.
See, it's Oregon. It is
But-
not on purpose. That is
I've heard
it's
good
just-
things about their trail.
It's just
Yes.
it just worked out. It just worked out that
Watch
way.
out for the
Amazing.
dysentery, though. And Erik,
I wake up every
welcome.
morning and say that to myself. Watch out for dysentery. Not today, Satan.
Not today, Erik. Welcome. Who are you?
Hello.
Tell us about yourself.
Thank you for having me back. My name's Erik. My claim to fame here is that I am Tim's brother, and I'm really excited to be back playing with M. My first D&D game, if you'll recall, was a one-shot that Tim ran for you and I. You were
It
test
was.
driving a bard for an all-bard one-shot.
Yes,
That was my first taste of D&D, and I haven't stopped since. So I'll curse you and bless you at the same time for that,
Thank you so much.
I have a lot of books now.
Yes. And tell us what you do on the D&D Friends server.
So I'm a mod over at D&D Friends, which is a one-shot server. We have players of all experience levels, tons of time zones, and we just run games constantly. We have a little bit of a campaign side for folks that come and stay for a while, but predominantly one-shots, and there's usually a couple games going on a day. So if you're looking to get a little more D&D into your life, come check us out, D&D Friends over on Discord.
Amazing. If you send me the link, Erik, I will pop it
I
up
will
in
do
the
that. That'd
chat.
be great.
That would be great. Yeah. And then we can make sure, and please everyone go join. That would be awesome to have more D&D friends. So good. So yeah, I'm going to jump into some very quick announcements here, and then we're going to dive right in after a little intro. So a big thank you to our sponsors, Legendcraft, a nerdy woodworking company from Calgary. We're also proud to be sponsored by Modern Arcana, makers of fine shirts, prints, mugs, adorned with 5 spells. Check them out. And if something tickles your fancy, enter the code Blackwater at checkout for a discount. We are also in talks with some new folks who are going to be sponsoring us, and I'm very excited about this. I have some meetings next week, and I'm so excited to talk about it when it happens. Love, as always, to our dice goddess Keisha and our artist Tiana. Check them out over on Instagram. Keisha's commissions are closed, but Tiana's are open for a very short time. So if you have wanted art, go in there. Get you some art, do that. Our Discord is a fantastic place. If you're already on Discord, well, what are you waiting for? Type !Discord in the chat and come on in, come hang out with us. If this is the party, that is the after party. So there's a whole bunch of stuff in there. It's a wonderful, wonderful, happy place. So please come hang out. Thank you to all of you who subscribe to us. And don't forget to re-up your subscriptions every month. You can get one free sub with Amazon Prime. And if you choose to send it to us, oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. And thank you all just for being here and telling your friends about the show and coming to hang out week after week. It's a delight. If you need to get caught up on episodes of this show, our other new show, The Brothers Grimm, or our main campaign, go over to YouTube, do that, follow us,
Not right
subscribe
now.
there. Go, not right now. Later, maybe at the break. We'll put the YouTube thing up at the break as well. We have not as many followers on YouTube as we have on Twitch, so like go do that, please. Ring the little bell thing and subscribe, like and subscribe. So yeah, so
Don't
please go
forget
and
to
never forget like and subscribe. So yeah, for our programming this week, we will be back on Saturday with our main campaign where we are going to for sure win D&D.
We're gonna win D&D. It's fine.
We're going to win D&D because we are
There's nothing to worry about.
We're a 5-player party across 3 planes right now.
Oh yeah, it's so
Sean,
bad.
stop
It's
worrying.
so
Why are
bad.
you worrying so
Becca.
much? There's nothing to worry about. No one needs to
No.
worry.
So
Everyone's
bad.
fine.
I'm
Everyone's
worried
fine.
because I'm not in my usual setup, and I almost forgot my travel dice. Which
Oh, the
Never
travel
Never forget
dice.
your travel dice.
So I don't know if they're evil or not. You'll see.
Oh, so
And I made a little dice box.
Look, you're so
That's
cute.
amazing.
Locally made granola I got today.
You're adorable. So if you are a new viewer with us tonight, or you've been with us for ages, thank you so much for coming to hang out with us. We love you immensely. Thank you for your support. We hope you feel super welcome at our table. So can we roll that new
before
intro
we roll
clip?
that intro though, I'm gonna here's a fun fact about the ocean. All of the biggest waves you're ever gonna find, they're on the surface. And the intro has been rolled.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
Fuck yeah,
Oh
baby.
gosh. All right. Get ready to yee some haws, my friends. Let's get weird. So last time on the Weird West, we met 4 adventurers as they were called to investigate the city of Clementine, to head down into the Gallwood mines after a cave-in. We met Wyatt, Hass, Spagg, and Marv as they set out after speaking to T. Edgar Gallwood about some mysterious goings on in his mine. They got some horses from the Cartwrights, picked up a bounty about a missing girl, Allison Bainbridge, and headed up to the miners' camp. While there, they encountered a mysterious pit that stunned Spagg and hurt Marv's brain as they fought 4 ooze-like entities that crawled up out of it. As they approached the mine, Spagg immersed himself in a water basin and heard the first utterances of this entity. Be at peace, lose your bones, and be one with the Shoth. As they went down into the mine, they found the lost miners' bodies completely boneless and moving down the mining tunnels towards an open cavern. Once there, they found a large pool and spoke to a tentacled creature that told them they would all be one with the Zolve eventually. They managed to rescue the lost girl, Allison, and blew up the entrance to the mine, but not before Hass took a small amount of the Zolve back in the jar with her. So we open literally exactly where we left off, the ground rumbling beneath you as the mine collapses. Allison is with you, and you are a day's ride from Clementine. But because we have converted this from a one-shot into a ongoing campaign, is there anything that, well, they also leveled up from level 8 to level 9. Is there anything that you would like to retcon before we go forward?
Yeah,
Anything
I
that
have 6
needs a
guns that I
changing?
can use all at once.
No, you have 2.
Shit. I thought it was worth a try.
You tried.
Yeah, I'll start. Just mechanically speaking, I had built Spagg and Meatball as a character who is all about summoning giant spaghetti noodles. But upon starting the game, I realized it was a very low magic setting, and that creating spaghetti noodles everywhere was not. It was going to be difficult to justify. So you may notice some mechanical changes. Spagg can no longer talk to things underwater, as he's no longer a warlock of the Fathoms, because I chose that because you can summon a big tentacle, which of course was going to be a big noodle.
Good to know.
Of course.
Yes.
So you've
and that's.
You've changed out the subclass.
I've changed out a subclass, and he's technically a Simic hybrid, so that he could have noodle arms. He does not have noodle arms anymore. He has a carapace, which just means that. Oh, also auditorially, I think Adam, Erik, and I all had a similar ideas, like, oh yeah, Southern, like Sam Elliott, like real dark, and I realized that wasn't the best auditory listening experience. So I am choosing to make Spagg and Meatball just not a baritone anymore. We're gonna find where his voice lands together.
I love that.
Spagg's whole vibe is changing. Just, you know, we love him. He still loves pasta and his pasta-related stuff. He still has dandruff that looks like Parmesan cheese on his red hair.
Say spaghetti about it.
He does still say spaghetti about it.
That was the most important part of that character to me, and I just wanted to make sure that was.
But mechanically, he's less geared to summon magical noodle monsters.
Amazing.
That's good to know. I will say, if you submerge yourself in water again, we will see whether you can talk to the thing that you have already spoken to underwater that has taken up residence in your noodle up here. Wowie zowie. Cool. Anything else that we are retconning across the rest of you?
Slender Marv is now significantly more handsome than I originally had envisioned him, thanks to wonderful art that I had commissioned for the character by Brandon Palace.
He's very handsome.
He also now has a hat. He was hatless in the first episode, but I've chosen to rectify that. He now wears a slouch hat.
We love that. Erik will also, if you're comfortable doing so, please post the art in the Discord so everyone can see what the very handsome, burly man of Slender Marv looks like. Hass, anything changing about Hass?
No major changes, but I have decided to make her a more reasonable height for the time period, which is one thing that I had considered before.
Yeah.
She's still large and very intimidating looking, but she's more of like a 5'7", 5'6" now.
Yeah. Height isn't all about how tall you are, you know?
Exactly.
No. She takes up just as much space.
Fantastic.
But I would like her to look like maybe at one time in her life, had she tried, she could have fit into society, but has now decided not to.
I love that about her. That's one of my favorite things. Anything about Wyatt?
No, I make perfect characters first time every time. So
I know you do. Wonderful. Okay, so yeah, the ground rumbles beneath you as Spagg has set off the dynamite that he had left down in the Zolve, and you collapse the mine tunnel open in front of you. Allison is with you. She is calmer now. She is on one of your horses with you. What would you like to do?
I want to take the sample back to town.
Yeah, we gotta get back to town. That was some wild shit there, folks. Allison, you doing all right?
Yeah, I'm okay. Can I just go home?
Yeah. I'll help her up onto my horse.
She climbs up quite easily. Most folks out here very used to riding a horse of some description. You would know too that it is now nighttime. It is probably about, I would say, 7 in the evening. It is like the sun has set. It is getting dark. The last remnants of the sun in the sky.
How long is the ride back?
A day.
Hell.
How long is the ride back to where we camped last night?
You set out straight from Clementine in the morning. So you got to the miners' camp about midday and then chose to ride the rest of the way up to the mine entrance, which was another half day. You got to the mine about 5. Your excavation and stuff took about 2 hours and coming back out. So now it is about 7 o'clock.
If it's worth anything, I think we put this place at our backs by a couple of hours and then we settle in for the night.
About right to me.
Yeah, I think that sounds great. Absolutely.
I love this.
I like Spagg. This is
This is
good.
what Spagg sound like the whole time.
Of course he is.
Gnocchi, and he starts calling for his horse.
About a couple minutes
I can't remember what I
later,
named my horse.
His busted ass
Arion,
horse.
your horse is Arion, and Hass's horse is Ello.
Hello, thank you.
I've
And-
got large Marv.
And Large Marv.
Yeah.
Large Marv the Clydesdale. And Gnocchi is just like a mix of, is a horse.
It's like almost a donkey, just not genetically. Like
Yes.
visually, aesthetically, it lives in Donkey Town, but genetically, it lives in Horsetown.
Genetically
It is
horse town.
Gnocchi is a very old girl.
She's so sweet, though.
She's seen it a little. Well, like once you win her over, but she's quite bitey on first greeting.
Quite bitey on first screening.
This,
Wonderful.
let's remember, this is the most discount horse
Yes.
that we could buy. And
Yes. From
Let me see.
a stable that had so many beautiful horses in it, you chose.
look,
her-
I don't rent. I can't promise I'll get it back. I'll be damned if I pay a damage deposit.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
Gnocchi.
So about
Good to
3
know.
or
All right,
4
we just
minutes
let them
later,
ride.
Ello leads the horses back up as Hass has a very good connection with Ello and is able to almost communicate and have her understand commands. So Ello leads the other horses back up. You mount up and you start riding. About how many hours ride would you like to put in before you
we're-
camp?
I'm thinking two, maybe
two at a
3.
decent clip.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'll say that probably puts you about an hour. If you ride at a decent clip, it'll probably put you about an hour away from the mining camp.
Sounds about right.
Because we don't want to stay there because there's that big gooey hole.
Do we want to do like maybe a little bit of a triangle so that we don't necessarily, we might, lose some time tomorrow, but I'd like to keep as much distance from the hole
Yeah.
and the mines as possible. Can we just kind of do like, just, equidistant from both?
Little off the trail then.
Yeah, I think so. I do not feel comfortable getting close to either of those places.
Sounds
Little
good.
bushwhack. Absolutely.
Hey, Spagg, how you feeling? I know you were, and Marv, you were having a bit of a headache back there. You boys feeling good?
Further away we get from the mine, the better off it is. in my
Yeah, I'll tell you.
opinion.
I'm like existentially unsettled. Look, I've gone most of my life understanding that there's people and there's horses and there's all the other critters of the world. And now I figure out there's another higher form of life. That's shocking. It's not just the two of us anymore.
Yeah, I once this job is done, I think I'm going to have to take some time to reevaluate kind of my place in the world, but, try to stay. I like to keep a bit of a tunnel vision when it comes to doing my job, but you boys are feeling fine though, right? No malign voices or nothing like that?
I'll let both Marv and Spagg roll insight checks with advantage to do a self-assessment of how you're doing.
Self-assessment.
Inside check on my favorite guy.
God, I'm glad that this is an advantage. Oh, that's not much better. An 11.
Okay.
for Marv.
That'll be a 3.
Yeah, Spagg, you feel,
With
as you were saying, a bit at advantage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Rolled
rolled
a
a nat
6.
1 on my first roll too. So
Yeah, cool. Love that about this. So Spagg, you, as you were saying, you feel a bit existentially shaken about your place in the universe, but other than that,
Sorry, I just realized that Spagg has a 4 in wisdom, and I need to play that more at the table.
love that.
I think it's fair though. I don't think men had a lot of self-insight.
No,
Yeah.
maybe it should have been a disadvantage then. But in any case, these rolls are quite indicative. Yeah. So Spagg, you you don't feel anything. You notice that as the further you go away from the mine, that kind of prickly feeling on the back of your neck, or that kind of burbling that happens in your head that you'd experienced the last time, that kind of like that kind of just rolls around kind of back here, gets quieter. It doesn't go away, but it's there. Pretty quiet. Marv, You are about the same. That we had talked about last time that it kind of felt like that sound sits about here, not totally in your consciousness, but if you feel your thoughts drift or you're not particularly thinking about anything, you hear this low burbling sound in your head. Not enough to like
baritone tinnitus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, verbally tinnitus. Exactly what I would describe it as. Perfect. Yeah.
Tell you what, Wyatt, I definitely feel more aware of my bones. You ever do that thing where someone like tells you about breathing and then you're suddenly breathing?
Yeah, don't think about green horse. All you can think about is green horse.
Yeah, I'm just like, there's just like kind of calcium sticks between all my soft bits that keep me standing.
Yeah.
That's kind of wild.
Yeah, we did see some wet, boneless bodies back there, and that was, again, kind of. I'm gonna put it back for now, and then I'm gonna deal with it later once this job is done. Because
not a terrible look.
Allison pipes up, having seemingly been quiet this whole time as you're writing. Yeah, they were. They would make their way down. Took them. Sometimes I would see them at the top of the stairs. It would take them days to get down the stairs, and then they would go in the pit, the pool.
You don't need to. You keep those things from your mind because it's dealt with. It's gone. We blew that shit up. So I don't want you having no nightmares or nothing. So
it's not gonna come back.
I don't reckon so. What do you folk think? We blew that shit to hell, I feel.
Yeah.
Hey, what are we gonna tell? Oh, sorry. You go ahead, Marv.
It's also a bit of a liquid creature. I'm not sure a cave-in's going to keep it down.
I think it would be foolish to think that we've completely killed it.
Pointing at Allison.
Yeah, I mean, that thing seemed pretty impervious to our weapons. I'd say it's probably coming for us. That's why we're parking so far out in the woods. Hey, what was our job?
You don't have to, try and... I'm not my sister.
Nah, listen, but you can keep it from your mind. It's fine. If it hasn't been dealt with, we will be the folk to deal with it. So, just when you're playing with your sisters next time, just be a little careful where you're hiding during hide and seek.
Okay. All right. My parents, do they know I'm gone?
Yeah, they put out a bounty for you. We're bringing you back.
Well, good.
We
live in the houses just on the other side of Clementine.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And that'll be our first stop.
First stop, indeed.
Okay. So you find probably a spot to camp. It's very easy. There's a lot of kind of open, land here. There's nothing between the mine. You've gone, triangulated yourself. You're about an hour away from the miners' camp for sure. So you're not anywhere close to that. And is there anything you would like to do before you bed down for the evening? It's beautiful. It is a clear night. You can see all the stars. There is some light from the moon. And of course the light from the fire that you light.
Cool. Let me actually...
I'm going to try to fashion out of just like clothing and stuff I have in my bag to make a little bed for Allison.
Yeah, absolutely. You can do that very easily. There is, enough for like a bedroll and in your packs and stuff. Would be enough on your horses to have a spare bedroll and enough for her to keep warm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Spagg is going to sit near the fire and just tinker around with his gunpowder and stuff.
Yes.
He's just working on some stuff. I just feel like we should put a little extra kick, and he's working on his eldritch rifle.
Wonderful.
Wyatt's gonna walk around the perimeter of the camp, and those little things where you throw them at the ground and they explode, but like very like
yes,
make big pops. He basically is like setting up tripwires that are like hooked up to those, so if the tripwire gets triggered, there'll be like a gunshot sound.
Is that you casting alarm?
I'm casting alarm around the and I'll just do it as a ritual. So I just
yes, absolutely, you do so. And so unless we say otherwise, still the same as last time. Please justify your spells. try and justify them in real world setting. If you want to take a leap and do something that cannot be justified, we will play that out from there, depending on what has occurred to your character thus far in the game.
In building Wyatt, I went real can be justified. So.
Good. Okay, awesome. So yeah, you bed down and the night passes without interruption. You get a wonderful sleep. It's very quiet. Do any of you take a watch at all?
I'll take first watch.
Marv would want to go in the dead of night.
Okay, so Haas taking first watch. Okay, can you roll me a perception check, please?
Would you like someone with you? Because I bet we could break this down into 2 watches.
I also have
2 watches is fine.
Snare, so I'm going to cast snare somewhere. I'm just going to make a literal rope up the tree, get
absolutely.
Caught
there's a
down.
couple kind of on unleaved trees. Yes,
so I
absolutely.
just create a snare as well.
Yeah, if anyone would like to join Haas for first watch, you're welcome to. And I'll only make you do 2 watches a night. 3 watches is way too much.
I get advantage because someone's joining me, or
depends.
I'll give you advantage because I'm dog shit at it. I'm just good company.
Okay, 17 then.
Yeah, awesome. You hear a coyote somewhere off in the distance howling in the middle of the night, and you kind of hear this chorus pipe up around through the mesa and across the desert. And you hear also with a 17, you hear
like water falling?
Nope. Sounds like something tapping against glass.
Okay. Oh, very literal. Okay.
And that's coming probably from where your kit would be.
Oh.
I hate that.
Oh no.
I'm gonna go to my kit.
Yeah.
Grab the thing and what do I see? Is it knocking against the glass? Sorry.
You see inside it as you move the jar that you have part of the Zolve that you took, this kind of silverish blue-green substance that is both gelatinous and liquid, like that transmutes state backwards and forwards, sublimating, and then both, reliquefying, turning to a solid, a liquid, sometimes disappearing into a gas and then going back down again. You see the liquid kind of move itself up the side of the glass and solidify, and then it pushes itself off, making the clink sound back to the bottom. It seems when you first put it in the jar, it was just a liquid. But knowing what you saw about the Zolve last time, you know that this substance has some sentience to it. It can learn. And it seems to have learned how to make a knocking sound on the inside of the jar.
Okay. I'm gonna go over to Spagg and show him.
Oh, weird.
I think it's slowly trying to get out, or at least get our attention.
Let's put some sand in there.
I think opening it is a bad idea.
Okay.
Do you have any stronger vessel?
Stronger than a jar? Let me think. No, not off the top of my head, but seriously, if it's moving around, we just fill that bad boy up with sand. It can't move at all. There's all the sand in its way. I imagine that'd be quite unpleasant.
But what worries me is that it might be able to get out in the time that we open the jar.
Ooh.
Since it's clearly.
Do I have a bigger jar that we can put the smaller jar into?
Like a jar within a jar situation. Okay.
Yeah.
Roll.
And we can fill that bigger jar with sand.
That's a great idea.
Roll a D100 for me, please.
Get a jar. Fill it with sand.
25.
No, you do not have a jar bigger than the one that already has.
Okay. Do we risk it?
Well, look. Is there a crack in the glass?
No.
I mean, if these glasses can take peaches, they can take this little Zolvy goo boy. He's not hurting anybody.
As you're talking, it has stopped hitting the glass. And as you are speaking back and forth to one each other, it moves as if oscillating back and forth between who is talking.
Yuck.
Like it's regarding you at each interval of speaking.
All right, you better cut that shit out, young man, or you're gonna get a face full of sand. I'm not fucking around here. I say to the jar.
Are you attempting to talk to it?
I'll intimidate the goo.
Okay, you can roll me an intimidation roll, please.
This is why are both of the mini campaigns just horror? Like,
Adam, it's me.
let's have a good time. Have a good time to shoot things.
What have we learned about my
23.
DM style? Teeth and tentacles, my dears. Teeth and tentacles. 23. You watch as the Zolve, as you're kind of, wagging your finger at it like a young whippersnapper, it backs up on the inside of the jar. But it rises up slightly, and you see a mouth, like the shape of a mouth, start to form amongst the small, a bit of it, just like you had seen prior when it had kind of looked into your memories and started to impersonate you and your father making pasta together. It approximates the shape of a mouth briefly in a kind of a toothy snarl, and then is quiet.
Has did that seem like attitude to you?
I think it's trying to intimidate you back. I would take it seriously.
I'm hearing a yes to sand from Haas. Yes?
Yes. No. We have one day back. We'll keep an eye on it.
I just shake the jar a lot.
No.
I shake it up.
You shake it?
Yeah, I
No,
shake it.
I'm too fast. I grab it from it.
Okay.
Haas is
roll.
faster than Spagg.
I'm going to say, well, you said you shook it and she said she grabbed
I'll
it. So I'm
fucking
going to
shake
have
the
you
little
roll
fucker.
contested dexterity checks, please.
Oh yeah, let's go. That's my dex. Not bad. Not bad.
That was really bad. 6. I'm tired.
16.
Yeah. So you
1
watch,
second. You gotta have tough love.
you watch as Spagg starts to shake it, and Haas, you go to grab it, but he's too fast. His little noodle arms are too fast for you.
They're not noodle arms. They're human arms. He is wiry, not nearly as
His
wiry.
wiry, not noodly arms are too fast for you. And how hard do you shake it?
I'm making a martini here.
You're making a
Let's
martini.
go.
Okay. We're doing a shaken, not stirred scenario. So you watch as you stop shaking it. The liquid has almost split itself into, I would say, like globules, probably about the size of a D20. And there's about maybe 12 of them in there. And they are now separated.
Oh no, you've angered it.
Yeah. You got to meet force with force. That's the only way any of us communicate.
I'm going to try to grab it now from Spagg.
I'll allow it.
You take
You
it
give
back?
it a good shake. You got those big arms. I bet you could shake it way harder than I could.
And I'm going to treat it nicely. I'm going to, because
Bad cop.
yeah,
It's
I'm
classic.
going to like hold on to the jar. And not like it's not a baby, but I'm just going to like clearly try to protect it from Spagg
Okay.
while also keeping an eye on it to make sure it's just to look at what it's doing. 'Cause
Okay.
I'm worried at this point.
Okay. So it doesn't do anything right away as you take it back with you. It stays exactly the same with the 12 globules about that side. It does not change after you take it back.
I'm going to sit down cross-legged with my back away from Spagg.
Okay.
And right in front of me.
It stays the same.
Okay. I will stay the same as well.
All right. Is there anything else you would do like to do before your watch comes to a close?
No. But when the watch switches, I will explain to Wyatt. Is Wyatt doing the second watch?
And Marv. I
Wyatt
think.
and Marv.
Yeah.
And I'll explain to Marv that thing needs a good shake if you get your hands on it.
Noted.
Now,
All right. And you switch over your watch?
wait. Now, Hass, do remind me why are we keeping this jar of demon juice? Like that seems ill-informed.
We didn't kill it, Wyatt. You know that we didn't kill it.
I know. I just like to optimistic thinking, but I think if we've got a big jar filled with goo, pop that in some boiling water and just have at. You know, like I don't.
We're a great pair, but neither of us are very smart. We need to take this to someone smarter than us to tell us what it is.
I take exception. I make my own guns. I'm quite like book learned. I'm quite a smart fella. That's smart. Like if you were to number it on a scale, it would be like an 18. I'm like pretty intelligent.
Wyatt, you have the things that you're good at, but we need to take this to someone who knows better than us. Have you seen this before?
No, but I don't think anyone has. Like this is like, I think this is going to be kind of out of the scope of anyone's expertise.
But at the very least, we need to show the townspeople what they're facing. They won't take our word for it. We're outsiders.
But I think that might
We're outsiders, and she's a little girl. No one will believe.
That might create some undue panic. I know folk out in these ways, and you tell them a demon's coming, and next thing you know, some random person's getting burned at the stake for witchcraft.
But then how do we tell them how their family members died?
There was a mine collapse, and they all got crushed.
Can I put something in here real quick?
Please, Spagg, have at.
We get the job done. That's what we do. We get the job done. And when we go report to our employer, and tell him a bunch of blue bait people deboned his boys, it'll go a whole lot further if we have a little blue goo to show them ourselves. We don't have to show the whole town because, look, Haas is right. People will get burned at the stake at the drop of a hat here. It's good fun for a Friday night if you don't have any plans. But we don't want to be on the other end of that.
People, so I think real quick.
Yeah. Oh God, it's
so quick.
It's we've tried to organize community functions Friday nights just so there's something going on, so we don't look for someone to burn because people do get bored. There's not a lot going on.
I personally have escaped 4 hangings just being in the wrong place, wrong time, and they were like, "Well, this guy's a stranger." And I found a rope around my neck, and I got out.
People say you got to pay your dues. They're like, "We haven't hung this guy yet." Let's
exactly.
While all this is going on, Marv would like to see if he can find a small creature that has bones, a small lizard or a rodent that's out in the night or something like that. Just very small, very simple, something that I could possibly reach within 10, 15 feet of myself.
Yeah, you can roll an either survival or animal handling check. I'll let you do either.
Can we get a vertebrate check?
Do you have a bone vibe?
Vertebrates.
Bone check.
That is
not what you think it is.
20, so a 22.
Yeah, absolutely. You can. What do you want? You want a lizard?
Probably a small lizard. They'll probably be a little slower at this time of night. So I'm gonna go palm a small lizard and bring it back over to the group. So if we want to test how dangerous it is, and I'll just hold the lizard up by the tail. Kind
in the goo.
I both love
Let's put it in and see what happens.
I both love and hate where your head's at, because like I agree, but I disagree. You know, we can kind of be in both worlds at once.
Throw the lizard in the goo.
My hand rests on my gun. I'm like, all right, have at it.
Has a strong affinity towards lizards for reasons that don't fit into this.
I didn't even know that. Sorry.
She was originally a lizard folk. That doesn't really fit into the Wild West. But I do think you're being quite smart, so I'm going to hand you the jar and look away.
All right.
What would you like to do with the jar and the lizard?
Well, putting 2 and 2 together. So I'm going to, let's see. I'm going to hand the lizard to Spagg, if I may, to hold on to for a moment. While I carefully... is this a screw top or is this a cork?
It's a screw top.
All right. Well, I carefully kind of unscrew the jar, and I'm going to hold it out kind of at the length of my long limbs. After opening it, like I'll kind of do this.
Oh yeah, we'll do like a 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, and then I'm just going to hold it away and see if it does anything just being open in the jar.
Oh, okay. We're not doing it immediate. Okay.
Okay. So as you open the jar, as you take the jar in your hand, the small globules seem to all move to the side that is closest to your body, and they stack up on the side closest to you, as if regarding you. Kind of like how it was when Spagg and Hass, when you saw it move, or sorry, whoever was on the previous watch, my brain today, Spagg and Hass, yeah, when it was moving back and forth. It seems now all of these little individual globules are regarding Marv. And as you open the jar, nothing happens. It just waits. It just stays still.
Marvel, put the cap back on, not screwing it, just placing it over the top, and bring it over to Spagg and kind of hold it out and remove the lid and just kind of nod.
In you go, little fella.
And then I will put the cap back on and I will screw the cap on.
Okay. As you place the lizard in the jar, the lizard starts to panic and it presses itself on the edge of the glass. And you watch as the liquid in the jar slides down from the edge, resting on the bottom, and just kind of ripples softly for a few moments. You've set the jar down, I'm assuming, at this point? Or are you holding it in your hands?
No, I'm going to put it down by the fire so that we have not close enough that it's getting warm, but close enough that we can see what's happening in there.
Okay. So the lizard holds itself on the glass, seemingly, I would say not knowing what to do, what situation that it's in. And you watch as the globules reform back into one liquid and start to creep and encase up on the sides of the glass. And it waits.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is it transparent? Like, can we see the lizard through the globules?
It is like, I would say, semi-transparent. It is like this blue, green, silver color. So sometimes you can see it, sometimes not. There are parts that are more opaque than others, but it does not seem to have any consistency.
Like that fun putty that kids have, where it's like you can see through parts of it.
Oh, that well in my house. So the lizard is encased right now?
No, it's still on the glass. The liquid, or the dissolve, the bit of dissolve that you have, is on almost the outside of the glass. It has completely defied the gravity of the glass. It is no longer on the bottom. The lizard walks down, places itself on the bottom of the glass, trying to absorb the heat from the rock beneath it that is warm from the fire. And the dissolve just drips down and begins to cover the lizard. The lizard does not panic. It stays still, its eyes blinking as it stays stock still. After about 10 minutes, you watch as parts of the lizard's body start to go limp, as if the flesh itself is still encased, or is still preserved, but it no longer has bone structure to hold itself up.
Yucky.
And as that happens, you watch as a tendril of the Zolve moves up onto the inside of the glass and forms a perfect replication of the lizard that sits on the inside of the glass.
Like color-wise and everything?
It is the same color as it
okay.
is. It does not take the color of it, but it is a
lizard-shaped Zolve.
Perfectly lizard-shaped Zolve, hanging by a very, very small tendril from the main pool at the bottom.
Was there talk
that
about
starts to?
Oh, sorry.
Get deeper.
So so there's more in the jar now than when we started.
As you see the bones and the body of the lizard slump down, you see the amount of Zolve increases slightly.
Okay.
Now, was there talk about filling this thing with sand? Because I'm now on the sand side of things. I would like to just sand it on up.
I think we keep it as is.
I think what we've learned here is how it operates and the time in which it takes to do its damage. Said that was about 10 minutes or so.
About 10 minutes. 10 minutes for quite a small lizard.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
seems
so-
quite small.
Just little gecko. About
But
10
also, you have
minutes.
quite a small amount of dissolve.
Oh. Ugh.
Look,
Well-
I'm all for throwing sand and stuff. I'll put sand in anything, anytime. Drop of a hat. But we get a job done. And I think it's important that for our reputation, that we show our employer this unsandified little lizard. Goo.
Thank you, Spagg.
All right. Yeah. I'll acquiesce. It's fine. I hate the idea of that thing being near me. That is.
What do you do with the jar now?
Can we at least like wrap it up in something
Yeah,
like
I was
tightly?
gonna say, can I like to go in my pack and get, a little piece of kind of rawhide strap, it's like
Sure.
leather strap cord, and kind of tie it up like you would a parcel.
Yep.
Nice
You
and
can do
tight,
so.
kind of bundle it up that way to keep the lid on tight.
You do so easily enough. And then
Yeah.
I think what we have left is Wyatt and Marv's watch still before
Yeah.
as you switch over.
Yeah.
Is there anything? I'll have either one of you make a perception check at advantage, or both of you can make checks straight perception rolls.
I'll make a perception roll. I'm happy to just have both of us do it if you want.
Yep.
There's a
23 for Marv.
also a 23 for Wyatt. Look at us go. We make a good
Excellent.
team.
The night is clear. It's beautiful. You hear the crackle of the embers of the rest of the fire. You hear your companions and Allison. Allison snores lightly. It sounds like she's getting probably the restful sleep for the first time in the 3 weeks that she's been missing. Finally safe. And again,
Now I'm assuming that we've left this thing kind of out to watch now that we know it's sentient. Would that be agreeable to the party?
I would,
Yes.
All right. So it's not going back in a pack. As it starts tapping, Marv is gonna heed Spagg's words and give it a little shake.
Just a good firm
Cool.
shake.
Kind of and just kind of like click his tongue at it a bit, like give it a shake.
roll me an attack roll.
An attack roll. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
How hard? I guess how hard do you shake it would be depending on whether you roll an attack roll or not.
I mean, I'm not giving it a whole like arm shake. It's more
Okay.
just kind of that,
Get in line.
kind of like
Kind of.
like having dice in a Yahtzee cup. It's kind of one of those.
Okay. You don't need to roll me
Unfriendly
a
jostle.
an unfriendly jostle.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's an assertive like who's in charge here kind of thing.
Okay. So then you can roll me an intimidation check, please.
All right. Intimidation. Oof. 4.
As you do so, the now increased, you see very little of the lizard left at this point. It's kind of a mush at the bottom. But what has completely turned, that is the that blue, green, silver goo, goes up to it like pushes itself completely on one of the edges of the glass, and you see fangs come through a mouth. Just a brief moment, as if it is checking you back. And then it goes back down and is quiet after that.
I'll put it back on the ground where it was before.
You don't hear the tapping anymore.
I hate that thing. I just gotta say, I hate that thing.
I don't disagree. What do you suppose we do with it? I mean, at this point, it seems to be contained in this jar well enough for the moment. We
Yeah, you're
can't
not wrong.
exactly let it go. So, as odd as it's going to sound, safest place for it is right about where it is.
Yeah, you're right. I'm just uncomfortable by it, but we get back to town, we do the job. Like Spagg was saying, we get the job done. And this ain't the end of it though, you know that. It's gonna be all problem, like.
No. I'm not gonna pretend that I'm not interested in what this is, what it ain't, where it came from.
I enjoyed my scope of the world before we encountered these things. I knew who to shoot and I knew who to save. It was like real kind of cut and dry. I still know that I gotta shoot these things, but I just don't know if shooting them's gonna do any good.
That's a problem for another day, hopefully.
Yeah.
And with that, the rest of your watch goes quite quietly. You see some animals in the brush moving their way along, some rabbits. That's about it. And as the sun rises, you all awake refreshed after a long rest. And you can make the huzzah. And you can make the, I would say probably say, if you rise at dawn, you'll be able to get back to Clementine for about noon.
I am going to choose my infusions for the day. So
please infuse yourself.
I think I'm going to drop my armor and get walloping ammo.
Yeah, great. Sounds good. Love that for you.
Cool.
What side of the town does Allison live on? Like the side closer to us or further away?
Clementine is like a 2-street town. There's a street going north-south and a street going east-west. You headed up kind of like northeast from the town, and they would live just on the west side of town. The town is 2 streets.
Okay.
So basically behind the row of shops, there is kind of a house, or like not tenements, but they're like 1-floor small houses. Would almost look like modular housing today, but they're minor houses, essentially, like 1 or 2 rooms, some of them, and you can see what they look like when they get down there. Pretty small. You saw a couple of them on the in town. They look very standard as to what would be in a mining town.
Okay.
It'll take you about 6 hours ride to get back into the center of Clementine proper.
In the morning, you see as Wyatt is tooling away with his guns, you see Spagg giving him his morning shave, and you see like inside his jacket, it's just a mess of like little jars and sacks and like custom pockets and satchels. There's just so many things. And so he pulls out the shaving kit, and then he pulls out what some of you may be familiar with are like dentist tools.
Okay.
And you see him remove a series of teeth from his mouth, pull out a sort of a necklace hanging off his neck with a little bag. And you see him pull out new teeth and sort of insert the...
Oh, and Sean froze just as...
where the other ones had been taken from.
Okay.
Sorry. Home dentistry, I guess, is too much for the internet. Yeah, so he removes a series of teeth and replaces them with new teeth. And then you see him take from another pocket, kept sort of in the lower armpit, just a flask that you can't see what's in it. And he just goes, can't start the day without the way. And he just takes a big old shot of this, and you just see his like fucking pupils like shrink. And he's like, okay, let's go to town. He gets 8 temporary hit points.
I was going to say, mechanically, do I need to know anything about that?
What was the
hell yeah, we love that.
When it comes up, we'll talk about it.
Right.
I love that.
But I just want to set it up now. But yeah,
Wyatt's gonna
bag
take
of
his gun apart, the gun, not the magic gun.
Yes.
He takes it apart, and he essentially puts in a new bullet. What's the revolving part of the revolver called?
The barrel?
No, the barrel is the part where the bullet travels down. The revolving part is the chamber.
I have no idea then.
He puts he puts a new one in, and it's just bigger, and the bullets just like the bullets that go in look fucking big. And if he shoots someone with them, they have to make a save or get knocked prone.
Cool.
Those are his walloping bullets.
Love that. Okay, awesome. Yeah, because
Can I
Sean, you
ask
just
Spagg,
hit.
how were you being secretive about the teeth thing?
Yeah.
No, I'm kind
Okay.
of incapable of being secret.
As that was happening, then Marv was fairly transfixed and kind of just stopped in the middle of whatever he was doing, packing stuff up, and just complete freeze frame watching that unfold.
Same.
He sort
And
of
as it
finishes.
ends, just kind of blinks a bit and goes back to what he was doing, making a bit of a mental note of the bag of teeth.
I also look at Slender Marv watching Spagg, doing this, because I'm confused because they've been traveling together for a long time. This is
It still weirds me out every time.
This this is part of the retcon thing. This is something
Yes.
he just does every morning.
Yeah.
He replaces his teeth. If you've
With
been hanging
new
out with him long enough, he makes his own teeth.
love
Not
that
in
for
his
him.
mouth, but like, if he has enough time to like camp in town, he has a whole teeth making setup.
I hate
Wow.
that.
Upon
love that.
taking a swig of his goo, he just shoots a smile to the whole. He's feeling real good, and you see that the teeth that he's made are not great fits. They are
Yeah.
neither the same. Like they are just far too white for the rest of his natural
Yes. Oh, it's
teeth, which are
perfect.
like a deep tobacco,
This
like
is
Singing to
sepia.
me.
This
It
is
hits one of the
hitting-
3 things that I love: teeth.
This is hitting the like deep existential fear that I have of my teeth falling out.
Yes.
I
We've
constantly
all
have
had those
dreams of
dreams.
me pulling my teeth out, and so you explaining that, Sean, is a nightmare for me.
It's-
A literal
I love
fucking
it, Sean.
nightmare.
I love it. If Adam's rolling a nat 1 on that, I am rolling a nat 20 on that. I
Ooh.
love that. So you begin your ride back to Clementine. Allison seems like she hasn't quite clicked in. Like there is still some delay in the like trauma coming out of what has happened to her. She seems quite stoic at the moment. She's got it together, and she saddles up on whoever's horse that she was on yesterday. I think it was Wyatt's. And then you head back into town. You ride again, kind of triangulating yourself so that you come back onto the road between the mining camp and Clementine, and you make it in. It is a hot day today, so your horses are exhausted, not taking a level of exhaustion, but they are tired as you get into the center of town. Where would you like to go?
I say we drop off this this young lady and get her back to her folks.
At the sheriff's office so that we get the job done and they know we did it.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a good point.
And I gesture to the bounty sign.
So you head over to the sheriff's office with Allison in tow.
First. Oh, sorry. You go ahead, Hassasssa.
I'm gonna make sure all the horses are parked next to water.
Yes, there is a water trough outside
A
of
nice
the
little-
most of the buildings here.
Yeah, that'd be
Now-
A
the
nice
first
little
thing.
moment with Ella.
Now I do remember our employee mentioning that the sheriff is maybe not the most pleasant of folk, so I think we tread carefully on this one.
We don't need to be pleasant. He's got a little sign that says money for a girl. We got a girl. Simple transaction.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, let's do it.
Good afternoon.
So you head inside. The sheriff's office is quite small. It's a very small town. You see that the sheriff's desk is empty. However, the deputy's desk of the 2 deputies are present, and you would remember the names of the deputies being Jetson and Calloway Dupree. They are twins.
The Dupree twins.
The Dupree twins. So you see, probably they stand about 5'10", lean, slender, but quite athletically built, wearing clean white dress shirts, black pants, boots with spurs, wearing very, prim looking hats. They look very well dressed as deputies. Everything is starched.
Do their boots look worn?
No.
Like, do they look like they've got any way to the world of them?
Yeah, do they have any
Enough.
calluses on those hands?
Enough that they would walk from wherever their domicile is to here. And
Damn.
Noted. Yeah. Marv wants to kind of clock those types of things.
Yeah.
you got it.
I feel like
Yeah.
Wyatt and Marv share alike. Look, we're like,
and they are
children.
sitting at their desks. They are jovially talking to each other. Jetson is smoking, and they seem to be in the middle of laughter as you walk in.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. We have here a bounty for one Allison. My character knows her last name.
Bainbridge.
Bainbridge, and you'll see that we have in our presence one Allison Bainbridge, and we understand that you two are the gentlemen to see about that.
You would expect that there would be smiles on their faces, and they just kind of look over and go, "So you do? Well then, what a nice turn of events this is."
And you'll notice here at the lower end of the paper that there is a cash amount for anyone who returns young Allison in fine working condition. Which, Allison, how are you feeling?
I'm okay.
That sounds like she's fine and working. So, gentlemen, as this bounty poster is printed from your establishment, I believe. Time to settle up.
I can read, sir. I do know what our sign says.
Oh, a learned man. Good. A fellow knowledge seeker. Then we can settle up and we can get Allison home right quick.
Right. Sure can. You folks knew in Clementine.
Yeah, we sure are.
Sort of passing through, figured we'd do some good on our way.
This good that you're doing, where did you find dear Miss Allison?
She was out by the mines. She'd had a bit of an accident.
Roll a deception check, please.
Absolutely.
None of that is untrue.
It's not the whole truth, though.
That's true.
19.
He gives you a once-over, and you see him cast an eye to his brother. And his brother circles around, comes from behind the desk, and kind of takes a half circle around Allison. She stands stock still. And he reaches out to her, kind of lifts up her hair, kind of checks her out. It's not pleasant. She kind of stands still while he does so. Well, does look like her, doesn't it, Calloway? Sure does, Jetson. Sure does. Well, now we can do one of two things here. You can leave her here and we will take her back, or you're welcome to take her back as well. Your choice. Doesn't really matter to us.
We would like to take her back.
Yeah, we're happy to take her back.
After that third thing has happened.
After, of course, we have settled up the tab.
Right. Yes. Would you prefer that in coin or tender?
What is the difference?
Would you prefer coin, which would be like readily usable anywhere, or would you prefer like paper money, like paper tender, which at the time would often be used primarily at like larger institutions like banks or hotels or stuff like that?
Yeah, no.
I don't trust money that I can't bite.
Coin will suffice.
Split 4 ways or just one purse?
4 ways, but on the level.
Well, we do everything here on the level.
I like to hear that. Cassidy, Wyatt Cassidy.
A pleasure.
Pleasure's all mine.
And who might you three be? Calloway, will you go? And Calloway just kind of does one of these and he pops into the back to go get the money. And you're standing talking to Jetson.
As he walks away, what is the condition of the floor here? Like, is it dusty? Would there be boot prints?
Oh, it is so clean. It is
then.
so clean in here.
Interesting. All right, I'm gonna notice that, and I'll kind of step forward as I'm kind of clocking the floor to see all of that. Tip my hat. Name's Marv.
Marv. What?
Marv.
Wonderful.
Left my family some time ago. Left the name with it.
Noted. And you, sir, who can also read?
Oh, give me a Spagg Edison meatball. Of the New Hampshire meatballs.
You're a long way from home, Mr. Meeball.
Well, I got a wandering heart.
Well, seems you've wandered through Clementine, and well, I can say I'm sure we're happy to have you.
Great, that makes all of us. What a happy town.
And who might you be? He regards you, Hass, with it's like slimy. The look is slimy. And you get the sense that this is a very ubiquitous look across most femme presenting people. And he kind of leans over the desk, taking a draw of his cigarette.
I've been giving him quite the look this whole interaction, so I'm not necessarily surprised. But I just look at him and say, Hass. Just that's it.
Well, Miss Hass, it is a pleasure to meet you.
Just Hass.
Just Hass. At that moment, Calloway walks out of the back and he tosses the coin purse to Jetson. He goes, you brought food back for him today. Jetson looks at Calloway. No, maybe later. Maybe later. And he throws the coin purse down on the desk.
I, with great, intent, count every coin in front of them with, a real, I don't trust you all.
Yeah, there's 250 gold in there.
We appreciate you splitting it 4 ways, as agreed.
Yes. It's split 4 ways.
Oh, it was. Okay.
I thought that was just a dick move.
And he kind of just splits it in the purses for you and then pushes it towards you. And as a reminder for you as players, you would assume that the person he is talking about when asking about if he's been fed is the previous sheriff, Powell. Jedediah Wildbolt.
All right,
because
they arrested him, yeah.
He is locked in the clink from what you have heard on charges of treason.
Now, 250 gold is $250 is we'll discuss this later. Boys, it was a pleasure. Good business. Nice
Good
boots,
business
by the
team.
way. And Wyatt will walk out.
And with that, Jetson and Calloway both sit back down with almost the same timing.
Yuck.
They share a look between each other. They laugh as you walk out.
Twins are gross.
Rip a stinky fart on the way out.
Crop dust them, yes!
Oh, sorry. So, these travel diets in my old constitution ain't what it used to be. So sorry, fellas. Oh, there she goes again.
Before we go on our way out, I'd like to try and get a look at the empty desk. To see if it's empty, as in if it's clean and pristine like everything else, like nobody's been there, or if it looks just like the sheriff might have stepped away, but had been there earlier in the day.
You can make me a perception check.
All right, perception check. Oh yeah, that's 27.
Yeah, the desk looks immaculately ordered and tidy. The pens are arranged. The papers have all of the corners match up. There is a full inkwell on the desk, and a jacket hangs on the back of the chair. It says, it would be like a day jacket.
Okay.
And it says there's a plaque on the desk that says Sheriff Severin.
All right. Noted. And Marv will kind of duck through the doorway.
Awesome.
I'm gonna add 62 gold and 5 silver. Is that?
Yes, go for it. Yes.
It's not 250 each. God.
No, it's 250 altogether for the girl.
Yay.
I'm gonna hand. I'll count out 50. Give that to Wyatt. This is. Well, you did front some of the money for large Marv here. And,
I know this happened yesterday, but I had forgot.
Some things have occurred.
It was a long yesterday.
So consider this a little goodwill.
I appreciate it.
Show that I'm a man of my word.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So where do you go to next?
I say we get little Allison here home.
Let's take Allison home. I mean, Hass, I applaud you. He was looking at her like she wasn't a girl, she was a fucking horse at auction. That was Yuck.
I dislike those men, and I
No.
have no doubt that I will find a good reason to hit them before we
Yeah,
leave.
If it comes down to pistols, I will not have any regret in my heart. I will say that.
Yeah, they were grade A shit heels. Absolutely.
Grade A shit heels, perfect. So you head over. You walk basically just through there's the spaces between the buildings. There's like small alley between one of the two of the buildings, and you walk essentially into some of the housing. There seems to be 4 to 5 kind of like double lined rows of about 20 houses, 10 on each side of the street. Some with 1 floor with smaller porches. So a couple have 2 floors, but primarily it's like just wooden housing, tin roofs. Some have wooden roofs as well. You see clotheslines draped between the houses. Nothing is in disrepair. It all seems very well taken care of, which doesn't surprise you with the kind of caliber of care that Mr. Gallwood had shown to the miners itself. It makes sense that that would extend to the housing where his miners are living. This housing would be thus provided. They would have to buy their own food and stuff like that if there was extra, but this would be for their families.
Company housing.
Yeah, company housing per se. There are children playing out front between the streets, between the houses, watched over by older siblings and mothers. You see some men and younger boys who would be miners sitting about, obviously not on their shift or on a day off, with a lot of just people. It's quite lively. There's some people playing music down the end of the street. It seems quite jovial. Allison leads you towards her. She breaks off into a run as you follow in behind. And as you turn around one of the corners of the street, you see like the spitting image of Allison, but older. A woman with blonde hair tied up in a bun, wearing a simple green smock dress with an apron over top. She has a baby on her hip, and you hear Allison just call, "Mama, Mama!" And she runs over, and the woman turns, and she just like almost crumples. She clutches at her, and she runs towards Allison and just like pulls her, holding the baby, just pulls her in so tightly, like grasping her hair. You see a man come over, also similarly blonde haired, and they just start calling out to people that she's home. After a moment, as you catch up to her, the man, her father, you assume, looks up over and goes, "Where did you find her? We looked everywhere."
Mr. Bainbridge, I presume?
Yes, Richard, where are my manners? Richard and my wife, Jillian, our dog, the Annabeth, Levi. They're the two, the Annabeth is the little girl on the hip, and Levi. And you see, he looks around, and Clarissa is somewhere around here too. Clarissa, he's calling out to try and get her to come back. Richard Bainbridge. Sir.
I shake his hand. No, sir. Needed. At least not for me.
Thank you. Thank you.
We found her out by the mines. She's had a rough couple of days, I'm sure. So I think she should get some rest.
And he looks over. He's like, "Allison, do you need to see a doctor? We can take you to the doctor. If you need to go." And she goes, No, Papa, I'm okay. I'm not hurt." And he just he starts weeping. He takes her in his arms. It's a beautiful reunion. The street seems to start rejoicing. You see people passing around like whiskey. You see like the band starts kicking up, and people just start rejoicing that she is back.
You got a strong young lady there.
Is there anybody that seems to be less jovial, or as this starts, they take their leave of the area?
Make a perception check for me.
Slender Marv got an ear to the ground.
There's things are afoot here.
What was the place that we got the job at? Like the really nice.
The Cup and Pony is where Mr. Gallwood. Yeah, that's his bar.
Nat 20, so that'll be a 30 total.
I love that. With your 30. You see people are leaving their houses, coming off of their porches. People are bringing down chairs to come and to see Allison and to it seems like this is a community here of people who are knit together, who are rallying around this young girl. You get a lot of pats on the back and people wanting to shake your hand. A lot of people offer you food. Drinks are put in your hands. People are giving you plates of food to eat, celebrating the four of you. And Marv, as you taking something, you're glad handing and stuff, your eyes turn down the end of the street and you see an older woman standing on a porch. She's wearing a high collared maroon dress and she has a glass in her hand. She takes a sip out of it. She has gray hair pulled tightly into a bun at the nape of her neck. And she seems to be just watching the group, everything. She has like very little expression on her face. She's standing there with a drink in her hand.
File that away in the old noggin. We'll keep that to myself for a moment. Keep half an eye to see if anything changes down that end of things as we're kind of carrying on, sharing a bit of this joy after the weirdness that was.
Mm-hmm. And that they basically will entertain you for as long as you have them.
I will.
Go ahead.
I just, for appropriate amount of time, I think we entertain this, but we've got a job to do and a little blue goo boy to take care of. So I just lean over to Richard and say, we've got to take our leave, but
you are welcome anytime. Please come for dinner. We would love to have you for dinner.
Well, thank you very much. We're staying at the Cup and Pony. And if Allison just starts being uncharacteristically flexible, you might just want to pay us a visit.
Yeah.
Flexible? What do you mean?
Oh, like flexible. Like some people can lick their elbows. I can't, these old joints. But if she could like lick both her elbows and behind her knees and stuff, just big if, just watch out for that. And if it happens, come find us.
Did something happen up there that I should know about? As her father.
Should is a very liquid term. The point is, Allison is home, and we're all excited. This food is delicious, and we're staying at the Cup and Pony.
Perhaps I will pay you a visit at the Cup and Pony away from everyone here. My wife.
That'd be great. We'd love that. We've got a business meeting.
No,
I don't have a hat.
Thank you, sir.
I would go to. Sorry, what was Allison's mother's name again? Jillian. I would go to Jillian at some point before we left, and I would hand her 5 gold, which I'm guessing is like the equivalent of like $5, and be like, just in case there's any need for medicines, or I'd give this to your husband, but men can be a bit bullheaded when it comes to charity. So,
thank you.
Just say you found it.
Appreciate that.
Anytime.
Very much appreciate that. If not now, then sometime this will come in handy. God bless you, sir. Thank you.
I hope so.
Thank you.
And then to Allison, I go, now you stay away from those Dupree boys. They are no good. All right? You hear me?
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
I will.
No need for that. All right.
Thank you.
We ready to mosey?
Can you give your horse some sugar cubes for me?
Of course.
Thank you.
In fact, if you're feeling up for it, come to town later and you can give them yourself.
Okay.
Only if you're feeling up for it, though.
Maybe in a couple days, if you're still here.
Sounds good.
Okay. And she heads back off, and you see that she's like, the energy that she has expended, kind of keeping it on for everyone around, has tapped. Her mother notices immediately and then shuffles her inside while the rest of the party continues. Now, to head back into town, you can walk past the house that has the woman standing on the porch on it, or you can choose to walk another way.
I would like to walk past that house.
Sounds good. So as you walk closer to her house, she stands, and as you're walking up, I'll say that your perception check from before stands. You see that though her eyes are open, they are milky white. She has cataracts, completely opaquing her eyes. She is looking in the direction of where most of the noise is coming from. Clearly that she can hear it. But as she hears you approach, the clink of your spurs and the watch her head turns as if she is regarding the new sound. She doesn't say anything, but she walks past. She continues to walk. Or as you continue to walk, she seems to notice that you're there.
I guess it's the evening now, so
It would probably, well, it's probably early afternoon at this point.
Then afternoon, ma'am.
Who goes there?
Name's Marv.
Marv. New in town?
Yes, just the other day, actually. Here for a spot of work.
I see. Mr. Gallwood call you?
It's interesting you should ask that. What makes you think that I'd be working for Gallwood?
The mine, sir. The mine.
Oh. You seem to have sharp ears. I imagine that you'd know the mine's not functioning currently.
I heard a rumble yesterday afternoon. Was that you?
Could have been.
Well, whatever you did, you brought Allison home.
Certainly did. Know anything about her disappearance there? A little short on details for that.
Are you alone?
Am I alone?
No, not really.
I would have wandered away.
If you want to be alone, then yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Is there others who travel with you?
I've got a few associates here and do the work with me. But at the moment, just you and I.
Well, if you like, you may come inside and perhaps we can talk. Your companions are welcome also. I don't get too many visitors these days, so company is welcome.
If you don't mind, I'll take you up on that. And I'll kind of turn and kind of wave my hat a little bit, wave everybody over. As they come in, I'll introduce them by name as they come in.
Ma'am.
Thank you for the hospitality.
I am Geraldine Capshaw. It's nice to make your acquaintance. Please come in. And she, with almost perfect recall, navigates the door handle and heads inside her house. You, as getting closer, she's fully blind. She would be fully blind at this point. She walks inside her house. It is neat, tidy. You see on the walls various dried herbs hanging. You also see jars of things on shelves. There seems to be drawings, looks like anatomy diagrams, lists, recipes. You see a pot on the stove bubbling. It smells like the rain. It smells like rain in a forest, which is wild considering how dry it is outside. It seems like there is a pestle mortar on the table, and she looks at you. May I offer you some lemonade?
Sounds lovely. Thank you.
She pours 3 or 4 glasses for you and bids you to sit at the table. Now, I don't know much about Allison being gone, but I did hear this large crash that I can only assume happened when the mining camp was disrupted. From there, chaos, voices screaming, and the other noise, that sound that rumbled, seemingly from throats, not the ground. Like water, but stickier.
Goo.
Yes.
Can I look around her house before asking her stuff? And can I tell if the herbs she has hanging are for healing or for medicine?
Are you proficient with either nature or medicine?
I am proficient with medicine.
You can roll a medicine check then.
There she is.
That's not great. That's an 11.
I will say the check was very low since you are proficient. Yes, these absolutely look like herbs that could be used in some sort of tonics or tinctures or salves for healing of some kind. Looks like very easily you see things that could be done to treat herbs that could be used to treat burns. You see stuff that could be used for sleeping tonics, things like that. And it was a cacophony of sound, and it did not stop. It was as if the sound continued even when it was quiet. I apologize if that does not make sense, but that is what I heard.
No, that tracks with what we
No,
know.
it's interesting you should put it that way. In my travels past that campsite there up towards the mine, experienced a bit of an odd sound as well. It was painful for me.
In your mind?
Somewhere in the back of my head, yeah.
Interesting.
Man,
Go
are
ahead.
you a healer?
I can be. I would not classify myself as so, but the doctor in town, handles most of the healing, but I try to soothe where I can. I don't get many who come by anymore, but I do the best I can. You would look around and you see some photographs on the walls of a man, quite tall, handsome, wearing a miner's hat and outfit. The photos seem to be a bit older, and there is no man present in this house currently.
You seem like you know a thing or two that are off the books, and also you seem shockingly familiar with the sound inside the head. I too have experienced it. It's quite unsettling. Truth be told, and I look at the rest of the crew, we do have another traveler with us who I think might be worth introducing to our friend here.
I point to my
The
eyes.
second you do that, she puts her hand up. Please. Not in my house.
Oh, okay.
That is fair and reasonable.
However, she reaches out a hand and extends it towards you, Spagg.
I take
May
it.
I have your hand?
Sure.
And she begins running her thumbs and her fingers over the inside of your palm. Now, if any of you had been in cities in the last little while, you would know that the occultism is quite a movement around this time period. People having their cards read, their futures told, their palms read, seances, things like that. She is reading your palm. She runs her hands along the lines, feeling each of the bumps of the calluses running down, fingers, her brow furrowing. Does it talk to you?
Not just at the moment, but down in the mind, it was pretty insistent.
There is a sense of something on you. It is not from here. And I say that broadly. It will consume you if you don't stop it.
How are you so familiar with these out-of-towners?
I have had one or two of the miners who do not believe the rumors about me come by and ask for my help to calm the sounds in their head. I distill what I can and help them sleep.
Oh, so there's miners in this town that are currently being afflicted by voices in their heads.
You would remember from the bar
The
where
youngins.
Spagg,
Oh yeah.
some
The
of the young
miners.
boys that experienced the burbling.
Oh yeah, yeah. That is.
How do we stop it?
I know we've just met, and you seem to not know what the town says about me, so I will take advantage of that where I can. Come back tomorrow night. I will need a day to prepare, and perhaps I can help.
All right, just in your preparations, you should know that if you were to talk to Allison, I reckon she would have a thing or two about hearing things as well. So if you're preparing some sort of special anti-goo goo for Marv and myself, make sure you brew one for her too. Thank you very much.
Have you ever been to a seance, sir?
No, can't say I have.
Becca,
You're muted, Becca, if you're planning to say something.
Sorry, my roommates were using the blender.
No, it's okay.
I have.
You watch as a small smile pulls at the corner of her mouth.
Hass smiles as well, knowing that she can't see it.
She reaches out a hand to you. Hass, do you take it?
Yes.
She does the same thing across your palm. There is strength in you, both of body and character. Do not let anyone take that from you. They will try and cut you down. Do not let them.
We haven't been able to yet, but I appreciate your words.
I don't know if I will go speak to Allison. I do not wish to impart any imposing nature on her. Forgive me, I will be upfront. The town does not. They merely tolerate me. I think they are both grateful and scared of me.
Guessing you don't go out on Friday nights much.
No, sir, I do not.
That's smart.
You seem to have a good sense of the community here.
I have been here a long time.
Allison's father seemed awful curious as to what happened in the mines, and I personally think it would be wise to keep him relatively in the dark, but you have a decent sense of the people here. Is that the best course of action? What do you think?
Her eyes draw to where the photograph is on the wall. The one you saw of the her and what you're assuming is her husband. You can find awful things underground.
Yep.
I don't believe that this thing has been found before, but sometimes keeping people in the dark is the best course of action. I agree with you.
Okay, good to know.
And those who do not know will scramble at knowledge and perhaps turn to violence towards getting it. So be careful.
I'll turn to everyone else. So I think a pretty easy story we can tell is just bandits, just like bad folk. There's a lot of bad folk out here, especially, between towns.
Sure, except for our employer.
No, I'm saying for her father. Like,
yeah, bad.
Bandits, and the like any further questions we can try to keep things mundane.
Yeah, bandits, greasy guys, greasy hair.
A traveling troupe of acrobatic bandits from the circus. So that when he asks about that flexibility thing you were talking about, Spagg,
yeah, contortionists.
We can
greasy,
just say they
greasy contortionists.
Greasy contortionists. We don't want their behavior rubbing off on her.
Yeah.
You see a small smile pull at her mouth.
Of course, we can't control what Allison's already told them.
Yeah, but situation like that, imaginations run wild. So
her mother, Jillian, is one of the few that does come by. I helped the little one with a fever when she was 4 months old. She comes by occasionally. I will do what I can to calm and placate her. I would encourage you to be forthright with Mr. Gallwood. Whatever you saw,
that is the plan.
He is a good man. There is much evil in this world, and he is better than most.
The new sheriff,
Mr. Severin.
Yeah, Mrs. Severin and them two boys, Dupree boys.
Hmm.
How happy are they with how quick are they to go for guns? I just need to know how lightly we should tread in this town.
To be honest with you, sir, I don't know. I hear very little from them. I don't leave my house much anymore, and they rarely step foot in the tenements unless needed to. We have a good community here. There is very little crime.
Understandable.
They also enjoy the comforts of bureaucracy.
Usually people who deserve to be there the least.
However, there is one time I hear them. Near the Ambrosia, if you catch my meaning.
I see. Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't actually surprise me that much. I just feel bad for the folks over there, the Ambrosia, having to deal with them Dupree boys. Their look make you want to take a shower.
I'm glad I cannot see them then.
Yeah.
Please send my regards to Mr. Gallwood.
Well, seems like a good time as any.
Yeah, that is our
And
next stop. Yeah.
I would again extend the invitation to you. It will take me a night or so to prepare, but you are welcome. Here I would need a conduit to attempt to connect, if this is something you wish.
Oh, for seance?
Yes.
Oh, I don't want to put this down. I might not attend. I'm not much into the occult kind of thing. I know my future. It's at the end of the gun of a man who's faster than me, man or woman.
There is
That's
no
my lot in life.
guarantees,
Well,
Mr. Cassidy.
You live my life the way I live it, and it's pretty sure thing. And
I've seen a lot of folks get kicked in the head by a horse. I mean, it could be someone holding a gun. It could be just a very smart, vindictive horse.
I'd honestly prefer getting, I like to think that one day someone will be faster than me, and that's the way my life
Horses
will
are so fast. You ever try to outrun a horse?
I really hope I don't get
I'd
kicked
say
by
they're the fastest in the West. Definitely not the
I
fastest.
think the
They
occult.
got them little moves.
I'm just gonna stay away from the occult. Personally,
That
I
is-
just personal
that is your
feelings
choice.
around that. So I can do some surveying, some canvassing while y'all talk to demons or ghosts or whatever seance. I'm not even sure.
We will see what arrives.
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't want to be involved in that. That was very vague and very scary.
But if this is the last time I see you, Mr. Cassidy, please let me give you something before you go.
Oh, I'm sure we'll see each other again. I just don't want to be involved in a ghost ritual. But
She walks over to a cabinet.
Yeah, okay.
And opens the back, pulling out 3 like small jars about this big, and one small little bottle. They're the jars have twist lids, and the one is stoppered. These will help if you find yourself in a situation most dire. Please.
Oh, I appreciate it very much, madam.
Thank you. It's the least I can do.
Could I inspect it and see if?
Yeah, you want to take a whiff?
Yeah, I'd like to make some sort of check. I don't know what it would be.
Are you proficient in healing?
Not in medicine. I'm
Okay.
pretty okay. My intelligence is quite high for Arcana, but I'm not sure if that's
This would be more of a medicine or
cool.
nature.
My
check.
medicine's pretty solid because that's intelligence.
Okay.
I mean, sorry,
go for
my
it.
nature is pretty solid because that's intelligence.
Nature's pretty solid. I would say, yeah, you could use a nature check here, trying to book learn the concoction of what she has done.
I just want to know what's in this stuff before I.
Yeah, go for it. You take a whiff of
You gotta know
the
what's in the stuff before you huff.
So 17, all told.
17. Okay, so you take a quick whiff through, and you look at the very small handwriting, very neat labeling on the jars, and you get the sense that the smaller ones are a salve that can be quickly applied to a wound that will keep it clean, and it will mechanically 1d4 plus 4.
Amazing.
Yes.
And you look at the small bottle in a brown bottle. There is a clear liquid inside. It smells very alcoholic. Like we're talking like some like very strongly alcoholic liquid, and that'll be 2d4 plus 4.
Okay. So two of the small ones, one of the big one?
2 of the small, 1 of the big, yes.
Cool.
I look at the salve and laugh and look at Wyatt, and seems like she doesn't think you're the fastest gun.
Everyone finds themselves at the wrong end of a faster gun. One
She
day
laughs.
or another.
You hear the laugh, and she takes your hand and pats it. And she grabs a piece of lavender down off of the wall and hands it to you. It matches your dress.
Thank you.
Does it?
It does.
Oh.
That's spooky. I like it.
Well,
I mean, no disrespect.
sounds like we're
That's spooky.
RSVP'd for between one and all of us for the seance. We'll play it by ear, but right now we're going to see about our employer.
Let's go talk to a man about some goo.
Right.
Before Marv
Yes.
heads out, like while this is all kind of going on and they're talking, I'd like to more closely look at the dried herbs and things. I'm proficient in nature, and just keep an eye on them in case we come across stuff. I imagine this woman doesn't get out into the wilderness to go find these things.
Yes.
So I'd like to keep that in the back of my head if we can repay her kindness at some point, but I'm not going to say anything to her. It's just a thing I want to do.
So you see things that could very much be used for healing. And you also see some exceedingly poisonous plants on the wall as well as a jar full of what looks to be dried like amanita mushrooms.
All right. The other thing that I would like to do is to ask about the picture with the man. I'd like to first have a look at it and try and gauge maybe how far back that could be. I find it interesting that because Galway's only been here a relatively short amount of time.
Yep.
So does this appear to kind of be something that would predate Galway's? Okay.
Yes, looks like it predates Gallwood's mining operations. The uniforms of the miners wear do not look nearly as the equipment does not look as good. It looks quite shoddy.
So this picture on your wall here, ma'am.
My husband.
I figured that was the case. If I may ask, was he here mining before Mr. Galway arrived with his operation?
He was. And died doing so.
Now, I do believe I heard you mention that, the things underground aren't always the friendliest.
Indeed.
I'll be straight to the point. I imagine you're pretty sharp and you get where I'm about to ask. I don't see the man here.
He
So
is
I
not.
assume, did he meet his end in the mine?
He did, yes. They came upon some gas. A pocket of something poisonous. Took them quick.
Okay.
35 gone.
Marv kind of takes off his hat at that.
It
holds
was
it
20
over his
years ago.
chest. It's still, I owe some respect here.
Thank you.
I'm just learning of it now, so it's news to me.
I have been here ever since.
Was this the same mine that Galway's working, or was this another?
A different
set up
one.
somewhere
Gallwood
nearby?
opened his current mine maybe 2 years ago, to my knowledge. Maybe 3. There was you see her, jaw set. The Foster brothers ran the mine before, and thus owned this housing, owned most of Clementine. After the unfortunate, preventable accident They left very soon afterwards.
In this mine of theirs, is it near where operations are happening now, or
No,
another
No.
area? Okay,
quite far in the other direction.
just trying to understand the lay of the land.
There are many veins of ore here. Many men come to seek their fortune in these hills. Gallwood, the best of them. The Fosters, the worst of them. I have seen men come and go, all driven by one thing: greed. But time gets them in the end. And they all leave eventually.
Well, thank you for the lemonade, and thank you for your time and your wisdom.
My pleasure.
I'll suppose I'll see you tomorrow evening.
I would like that very much.
And Marv will kind of unfold himself from the chair and tuck it politely back underneath, put his hat back on, and just kind of tip the brim of his cap. Good evening then, ma'am. And he'll
afternoon.
head out. Or afternoon, yeah.
Yeah, you are outside. And we, for the sake of time, will take our break there as you make your way over to the Cup and Pony. And we will pick up back there in 8 minutes.
8 minutes. Tight.
Yeah, we will see you all soon.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Get weird.
Hey guys, it's me, Adam, and I'm here to talk to you about the sponsor for tonight's episode, Legendcraft. Legendcraft is a Canadian woodworking company that makes D&D and tabletop gaming tables and accessories. They are a couple of passionate crafters that create items that will instantly become a highlight of any tabletop or RPG player's game night. An absolute favourite of mine is the Mountain King board gaming table. This table is bonkers cool, looking like it is straight out of a Dwarven King's Hall. It's really unlike anything I've ever seen. We feel really good about endorsing this Canadian business that brings so much passion into something we care so deeply about. So head over to their Instagram at legendcraft.ca to have a look at what they're making and let them know that Blackwater sent you. And if any of you fall in love with any of their amazing products, you can go to their website and use the promo code Blackwater for 5% off. It supports a Canadian business and also helps support our stream in this crazy D&D game we love. Thanks, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Well, yeehaw. Yeehaw. We are back. So before the break, we left you heading back over to the Cup and Pony. So you have been gone.
Ding. We're here to see Mr. Gallwood.
Crannies is behind the bar.
Oh, this fucking guy.
The bartender.
Grannies.
And he goes,
Crannies.
"Oh, it's lovely to see you. Wonderful. Thank you for coming. I'm glad you're back. Glad you're back. I'll go get Mr. Goldwood."
No,
Do we
Grannies,
need an appointment? Or
It's
could
no,
we...
it's no need. We'll just pop up. We'll go see him. Save you the trip.
Oh,
he's
all right,
expecting us. He's expecting us.
I don't believe he's in a meeting, but hold on one second. And you see that something that has been behind the bar the whole time. He looks like there is a pipe that has a little flap on it from behind the bar, and he opens the flap and he goes, "Mr. Gallwood, those adventurers that you sent out to the mine are back, and they'll be coming up to see you now." And he just closes the flap and gets back to polishing his glasses.
I have reevaluated my opinion of that man. He made us wait going up those stairs that whole time. He has a little tube. You see that tube?
I can hear you, you young whippersnapper.
Yeah, you had a tube. I woke up the stairs.
Hey, some people don't understand the power of tubes. And I'll level a wink at Crannies.
And he raises a glass to you. And as he pours you a shot before you
We'll
walk
talk
up the
about
stairs
tubes
back.
later, you and me.
And he goes, "That one's on the house." And he goes back to polishing his glasses. So you head upstairs, and Gallwood has opened his door for you. You head in?
Mr. Gallwood.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
With wild abandon.
Good to have you back. What did you find? What'd you find?
Well,
I would love to say we have good news for you.
We do not.
I don't want to make a liar of myself. No.
we have extremely bad news for you, but a visual aid to show you.
Well,
Yeah.
before you say anything
I
that
think we
could
should start from the beginning.
Before
Yeah.
you say something that could incite a panic in the whole fucking town, let me close my door. So he
Absolutely.
closes the door,
Absolutely.
and you watch as he he opens the tube on his end, and he stuffs a piece of cloth
Yep.
into it and
You know,
closes
that
it.
tracks. That tracks
Okay.
for me. Do you want me to put a little rag, something under the door frame or something like that?
No, it's fine. There shouldn't be
Okay.
anybody else upstairs at this point.
Cool.
Most of the guests are out for the day. So
I'm gonna
what the
stand
fuck
with
did
my
you
back
find in
to
my
the
mind?
door, just listening out, just in case I hear any footsteps creaking near the door.
Make me a perception check then.
Yeah. That's an 18.
All right.
Oh,
Good to know.
19.
Good to know. So he comes and stands beside his desk and kind of leans on it. Show me what you found. You said you had something?
Oh, yeah. Look, I intend to tell him basically the whole story top to bottom, but we'll
Okay.
start with this little.
What the fuck is that?
My hand goes back on my gun.
That is what we found. Is it all in there still?
You pull out the jar,
Oh, no.
and it is still closed. The cord's still wrapped around it. It has doubled in size.
Oh,
It is. You started off with about this much in the jar.
Proof.
After the lizard, it was about this much, and now we're sitting at about this much.
we should feel that
And-
thing was saying. I'm just saying.
And you watch as you can see multiple shapes kind of swirling around inside the jar. And as you put it on the desk, Gallwood's eyes he immediately kind of leans down and starts looking at it. And you see, as he kind of leans in closer to it, you see an approximation of his face start forming in the jar. And what the fuck did you just bring into my office? What is this?
Well, that's the job. That's what we found down in your mind.
That's what's
In
down
my
the mines.
mind?
Yeah. Well, your
Yeah.
mind has been.
We tell him the whole thing. We catch him up to speed. And if you want to be caught up to speed yourself, you can check us out on YouTube.
And subscribe, like and subscribe.
Like, smash that like button.
Hit that notification button.
Comment what you think.
So
Comment. It's good for the algorithm. Comment.
So
You don't even need to comment anything meaningful.
Story, he sits,
No, you have to. It has to be profound.
As
It
he
ought to be
sits-
like a fucking poem. Otherwise, leave it at home. We don't want it.
as you tell him the story, he kind of sits at his desk, staring at the jar, not looking at you, just staring at the jar as you tell him the story. Go ahead.
Now that we have explained the tale and we've provided visual aid, I would like to put forth that I would like to see that jar put into a big pot of boiling water, and just like kept there for a while, a long simmer. You know, a couple of days. Keep it.
Have you shown this to Doc Faraday?
No, you're the only one.
You're the first and only.
Right.
It's grown. There's more now.
What do you
It
mean
was-
it's grown?
It's like 4 times its size than when we first
So
scooped
this
it.
shit was in the bottom of my mine.
Yep.
A whole lot of it.
And
Might still
you
be, to be fair.
collapsed that cavern.
Yep.
Did you find the miners?
Oh, yeah.
In a
And like
sense.
Marv shudders.
And I suppose you told him. And so those piles of what was left of my miners went down into part of this.
Yeah. That's correct.
If you
Apparently,
want, I mean,
of their own volition.
Well, my
Lil
bank,
Allison knows more about it than anybody. She was
I think Allison saw a lot.
down there.
Yeah. That girl's gonna need someone to talk to at least.
well, it shouldn't be me. I'm too gruff for that, but I'm sure we can find something. Her father is a good man. He does his job well. I can't say I'm pleased that the mine has been collapsed, but I appreciate your initiative.
Yeah.
There will be other mines. We cannot replace the boys that we lost.
That is a shame. I will say there is also a large open pit
The pit.
by the mining camp that
Yes.
we were unable to collapse given the fact that it was a large open pit.
You did throw a bunch of dynamite in there.
We
You,
did
like-
throw a bunch of dynamite down there thinking
You
about
did.
it. I do remember. It was a long day.
But didn't collapse, so to speak.
Yeah, it
Kind
just
of
was
crumbled
filled with,
in on itself.
Oh, we did collapse it though.
We
Good
did
for us.
collapse
Little
the
high
pit.
five.
Never mind. I remember now. Almost like it was a couple months ago that this happened. That day was so long.
Well, there is another vein that we are pursuing around the mountain, so that takes care of that. But I am concerned that this will not be the last time we see that, whatever this is. And why does it make my face every time I come close to it?
Yeah, so when we were at the pit, we did fight a bunch of gooey little like people shaped things. I think it just tries to I think it's trying to like assimilate or
So, mate,
Spagg, please.
here's what we know. These creatures are very good at mimicking, and they can even, with physical contact, read memories and recreate them in physical space. Also, the big main goo, the Zolv, as we understood it to be, was quite resistant to conventional weaponry.
Yeah.
It is unclear at this point how effective that cave-in was. So we know these things don't care for bones and take an interest in the way we operate. It is unclear how malicious they are, but given that most folks tend to enjoy the use of their bones, I am not too proud to mention that I too like my bones. We may find ourselves in opposition with our new guests.
From the way the conversation went, it sounded like they don't see themselves as malicious, and they think that people want to join them. But I don't know if it's like a really like people have their full faculties when they decide to join the what I believe are called the Shoth.
The Shoth.
Yeah, they were saying lose your bones, be at peace, join the Shoth, and then they were talking about the Zolv, which I think was the big puddle.
So I have a piece of this Shoth in this jar in my office.
Piece of the Zolv? I don't. Hass, you
Right.
grabbed this from the big puddle, right?
It is a piece of this all.
Yeah, but it's like looking like a thing now, so maybe it's become a Shoth. I don't.
At this point, you know what we know.
Yeah.
It's very confusing.
It's a lot.
Do you wish to keep it?
No, I wish to boil it personally. That's my vote.
Well,
After we show
go
it
ahead,
to the
Marv.
doc.
Go ahead, Marv.
I'd like to know more about it. If you can recommend anybody who may understand such things, I certainly understand if there is nobody, because nobody in this room seems to know what this is. We got a name. We know that it dissolves bones and beyond.
Yeah, is
The
there
only
any
person I
lizard
can-
skin left?
No.
Or is all
Oh no, it's gone.
Lizard skin.
It's gone. The only person I think who would know anything about this would potentially be Doc Faraday. But even then, this would stretch beyond probably his medical purview.
Maybe it's we talked to someone who knows about like demons and such. This might be like a religious, theocratical kind of
And that
discussion.
would mean we are at an impasse. We are without religious guidance in Clementine at the moment.
Oh hell.
Our
The-
previous pastor, Reverend, hold on, I gotta find my notes. Where did they go? Reverend Moynihan got sick a while back, and there was a new reverend called to town, Dr. Clampton, and he was here to take care of Reverend Moynihan as he was dying. But when Moynihan died, Clampton left. He was here for a while, but I think consequently he left actually right after the cave-in.
And now,
Some sense was that the grief was too much for him before he moved on.
did the Reverend get sick right around Pal getting accosted for treason?
No, it was
Okay,
before then.
Those things are on a yeah, I just, you know.
What was the nature of the illness?
The Reverend Moynihan was many things. He was a wise man who led our town well, but he had his vices. Chewing tobacco. I believe there were some sores in his mouth that neither Dr. Clampton or Doc Faraday could fix.
Oof. Nasty.
And in the end, he was just too weak.
Damn. Well,
But the Reverend Clampton did well while he was here. And then he left our town in a bit of a lot of people needing support after the cave-in, and he just left.
What became of the church? Is it boarded up or?
No, it is down the end of the row. Still there,
Folks still go there on Sundays or?
without someone to lead them. People tend to keep to their own here.
kind of a pray at home kind of situation. Well, I think we should talk to Doc Faraday, but again, I would like to keep the boiling it option on the table.
I think we hang on to it because we've got a date tomorrow night, and it might be important as a a focus
right
of the
there.
evening.
Mhm.
Yeah, So let's not boil it just yet. However, if you have a bigger, stronger jar, I imagine a house like this has many a jar, and I think
I'm sure we could find something.
I would imagine so.
Wise thought there, Spagg.
I
I'll,
never stop thinking about jars.
he takes the
Jars
cloth
and
out of
tubes.
the pipe and he goes, Grannies, give me the biggest fucking jar we have in this place. And you hear Granny goes, oh yes, and he like toodles off to go find.
Do you want me to go
Okay.
down and help him? Because I feel I will be here an hour or so. Otherwise,
Well, perhaps you could meet him at the front.
yeah. I'll head down the stairs.
It's later in the day at this point. I'd say it's probably 5 or so. 5, probably like 6 after all of the stuff with Allison's and you spent a little bit of time there. Gallwood kind of leans out the window and goes, looks like the doc's probably gone home for today. His lights are off in his office. You could probably catch him in the morning. If you're planning on swinging by there. You are welcome to stay here at the Cup and Pony for the evening, if you like. There's also the Ambrosia, if you wish to spend your time.
So it'd be uncouth to visit the doctor at his home outside of hours, is what I'm hearing.
The doctor works very hard.
Okay.
His house is at the back of his clinic, if you wish to.
No, I'm sure this goo will keep. He's got that very big jar. Well, geez, I've heard so many good things about the Ambrosia. I mean, 6 o'clock on a Wednesday night. They probably got a special.
Or you can eat wings.
And you have room and board here if you wish. Your rooms are down the ends of the hall. And he throws a couple keys on the desk. You're welcome to them as long as you're in town. And while I remember, he grabs the money promised to you in entirety.
Woof.
He throws it down on the desk for you. And he thinks for a moment. After you see the doctor, come back here tomorrow. I might have a bit more work for you if you're willing to take it. Something I've been meaning to catch up on, but haven't found the right way in.
Hell, we can start tonight. I mean, I was just gonna go diddly do, but I like getting work done.
I come back with the jar.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Look at the size of that thing.
It's a
big old
jar.
pickle
You
jar.
can pickle all sorts. You can pickle a head in this.
So you put the jar inside the jar.
Yeah, I'm gonna want to put like rags around the bottom
Okay.
and like along the side so it doesn't like rattle too much.
Yeah.
To that point, that one jar is the biggest threat to that other jar.
Yes, glass on glass would be.
Yeah, so we're gonna want to sort of
Unbreakable.
pack that in, but still be able to see in, although somewhat obstructed from certain angles.
Okay. Roll me a dexterity check to
Sure.
try
This is
and do
gonna be
this
good.
as best as you want to.
It's a 5.
Yeah, okay, it's in there.
Great.
Looks good. Looks good to you. Gallwood watches as you do this. What you said yesterday about finding a way in with the Duprees and the sheriff about Pal. I am stuck behind a wall of paper. You're not. Well, I'm not saying.
Want us to bust them out? We'll bust them out.
No, I'm not saying
We'll
to.
go tube time on these motherfuckers.
I'm not saying to go in there guns a-blazing, but if you can figure out why Pal is locked in there for treason, they're very tight-lipped about it. They won't talk about it.
Haven't met those boys. I don't think it would be too hard to goad them into a little game of irons out at noon. So I'd be happy to oblige them on that. So
You know where I hear those boys are gonna be? Wednesday night special at the Ambrosia. I think this is really perfect for all of us. Mixing work and pleasure. Absolutely.
I will say,
Love this
Madam
job.
Zenziva does a very good job at what she does. It is the jewel of the town.
And a
I will say.
referral. My goodness. All right.
Also, as a point of note, Wyatt, in case you didn't remember, you have a note for Madame Zanziva that was given to you by Mr. Cartwright in your possession.
Shit, yeah, you're right, I do.
You do.
I
This
got
is Emma
pop-
telling you, not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta pop
Because
by the Ambrosia anyway. Got see the madam of the house with a note.
Please give Madame Zanziva my regards.
I will certainly do that. How much was the pay all up?
So the first bag was, I think, 250 gold.
Oh yeah,
And the
forgot to mark
5
that
is
down.
500 for each of you.
Oh, that's
So-
easy to split. That's $1.25 each.
I should
No,
have.
500 each.
Oh heavens.
So the 250 was for all of us.
The first 250 was 250 each.
250 each, and I gave 50 of that to Marv,
I thought that was split.
and
the
50
250.
came back.
The 250 that was split. So originally,
I-
okay, here we go.
I'm just gonna add
You
seven.
You really got seven. You got
'cause I didn't add the
250
250.
apiece for the first part of the job.
Mhm.
Wyatt, you gave Marv 250 so that he could buy the horse for 500.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take
Um,
200 back.
Yeah. And then Spagg bought Gnocchi for I think 50 gold.
It was about 100.
It was about 100. It was
Yeah.
a buck. Okay. Yeah. Then that's what you did. And
Cool.
then you split the 250 for Allison Bainbridge.
And that's why I didn't have the 250 already marked down. So fantastic.
Yes.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's your money.
To the Ambrosia.
I'm going to. I'll catch up with y'all. Just well, quick word in private if that's okay.
Of course.
Sure.
Okay. Once everyone leaves.
You want us to wait downstairs? Because
Yeah, sure.
I'll engage in tube talk with crannies until he comes down.
He is fascinated by all things pneumatic. He has gone through a post office once where he saw letters moving in tubes, and he is fascinated.
Get the fuck out of town. Letters and tubes?
He traveled through a big city and sent a letter, and it went through a tube, and he was
You
shocked.
ever see an organ? It's just a bunch of tubes and it's the sound of God. It's
I
unreal.
love the one they played at the church before the Reverend left. My God, it's my favorite part of
You've got an
Sundays.
organ right here. Look, this is side
That's the
bit.
whole
We're gonna let the plot do
conversation.
its thing.
Yes.
Hass is worried about having to pretend to be nice to the Duprees in order to get information from them. So she's going to take 3 shots. She's going to take a reasonable 3 shots.
Yeah, absolutely. You do so.
That'll
You take some-
de-escalate the situation.
You can mark off like 2 gold.
Okay.
Yeah, they're very cheap.
Marv is going to take the jar within a jar
Yeah.
and
I
take
was
one
gonna
of
say,
the
who's
keys,
holding that?
to the rooms, and I'd like to go in. What's the room like? I imagine it's pretty straightforward, but
Pretty
what's in there?
straightforward. Probably like I would say 6 feet by, like it's probably longer than it is wide. There is a simple bed, a washing up basin, a small dresser to hold your clothes, and like a Bible on top of it, and that's it.
Okay,
It's a nice room as far
I will
as
put
rooms
the
go.
jar on the floor.
Yeah.
I'll take out some cord and kind of tie it up again,
Mhm.
and then I'm going to place the Bible on top of it.
Oh, fun. Okay, sounds good.
Imagine it's a reasonably hefty book. It's less about the religious connotations to it and more about I want to
Right.
put something further on top of this, and there doesn't appear
Noted.
to be anything reasonable outside of the book. So
Noted.
maybe the book and my pack. I'll put that on top of the book.
Okay.
So I'm not going to take that with me to the Ambrosia.
As you put the jar down, so there's rags covering the jar inside. You look as the what bit of the Zolv is in there is swirling around, almost like it's trying to find something to latch onto, trying to find something, some source of input. And as you place it down, it starts moving faster, almost frantically, to try and find something, but can't really see anything past the rags at this point.
I will
Does it
note the
react?
franticness and
Does it react to the Bible being put on top of it?
You're not in the room, but but Marv would see as you put the Bible on top of it. It moves up the sides
It
to
adopts
the top.
religion. We've made it
To
more
the
deadly.
top.
Oh God.
And it kind of, part of it is still swirling around the bottom. Part of it is hanging out kind of against the lid.
A new pope has been chosen.
Well, and of course there is a jar space, like the jar within the jar. There is a bit of a space between the two lids and where the Bible is on top. But yeah, it is curious. It looks as if an animal would be like, imagine a dog sniffing something it's never found before. That's what it's like.
Take note of that and not having any better options. Because Marv does not want to carry that jar around in public for everybody to see.
You leave it in your room?
I do leave it in my room.
Okay. Sounds good. So it is after, and we move back to Wyatt sitting in with Mr. Gallwood. What can I do for you, son?
I'm at those folks. I know you're working on a new vein. In case it takes a little bit of time, and I'm sure you're a man of means, but consider it an investment. I'm going to put 50 gold down on the table. I just won't. It'll give me the gift of peace of mind that these folks are going to be well seen after. I'm sure I've heard good things about you, but I just want to do my part.
Well, I appreciate that, Mr.
course.
Cassidy. I did not take you for a man of business.
I like to leave places better than I found them, but not that this place is bad. I like to do my
No,
my
I
part.
understand the sentiment. I understand it. He doesn't seem offended. He seems
Going through the towns that I go through, I tend to find I leave a lot of bodies in my wake, and I like to leave something more positive as well. So.
If you'll allow me, let's make that investment official.
Oh,
then,
sure.
Shall we?
Yeah, of course.
Give me a moment. So he draws up some quick paperwork.
Hell.
And he offers you the pen to sign it. If you read it over, it basically calls it a 50 gold investment in a new vein that he will open up. The next vein that he opens up.
You got stocks, my guy.
Before I sign, I'm like, I just want if the folk are going hungry, that's where we're gonna dip into the 50 gold first. Yeah, that's
Mr. Cassidy. Have you seen anyone here that looks like
No,
they're going hungry?
Of course not. I'm just worried about these folks not having an employment situation. But you're a good man. You've been taking care of things, and I signed the paper.
As you sign it, he points to the photo of his grandfather. They went hungry.
Yes, sir.
These folks never will.
I'm glad to hear that. You have a good day. I'm gonna now.
And he draws you up a small legal tender. So you essentially have a 50 gold share in the next mine.
Very cool.
That Mr. Gallwood opens.
Tuck that in my coat pocket.
The stonks
I'm gonna run
are.
about.
He's got some stonks.
I'm gonna run about the rest of them. But if there were to be a fight pick with the Dupree boys, I'm pretty confident I could take them in a 2-on-1 kind of situation. Do we want that to happen? Also, I'm not sure the legality in this town. If it's a fair duel, if they challenge me and I win, am I gonna get strung up for killing someone or?
Yes.
Damn. It changes town to town, and I like the towns where if someone challenges me fair square, I win because I win.
As
I get to walk free. But
Mr. Cassidy, we are stuck behind bureaucracy here. Severin does things to the T. Nothing is left uncrossed, or no T's uncrossed, no I's undotted.
What if it's a 3-on-1? I get rid of all 3, cut the head off. The 3-headed snake, cut them all. But does that change anything, or do I still get strung up?
What do you think?
Damn. All right. Well, you have a good day. I'll figure something out. I'm just good at one very particular thing, and I feel a little out of my depths here.
Tell you what. If you get a chance to talk to Pal, I haven't been allowed to see him. Please tell him I put in a call to Ulysses.
Yeah, I will.
And hopefully he will be here soon.
Absolutely. Ulysses, and I hold up the note, I'm being awful forgetful, very out of character. I'm being forgetful these days, but it was because
Jackson,
I did.
his lawyer.
Yeah, his lawyer. It's been a hell of a day. I'll see you.
If you are going to the Ambrosia, take a load off. Relax. You would be in good hands there.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. I'll go join my compatriots. I'll head
All right.
downstairs.
So
Like
where
tubes.
to?
Yeah,
Maine?
and so I just think that like our conception of what a tube can be is a little narrow. I think not just metal. I think really most trees are just tubes that's full of wood. If you think
Spagg, you
about
are
it.
a man of vision. You are
Spagg-
a man
Ooh.
of vision.
Spagg, you ready to hit the Ambrosia?
Well, look, I think I'm going to have a lovely time there, but I can't imagine having a better time wrapped up in engaging conversation. You know, business does call. Business does
I just want to say that my stance on tubes, guns are just tubes. I like tubes. I just don't.
No. Guns are not just tubes.
I mean, the
Guns
most
are not
important part of a
just-
gun is a tube where the bullet flies through and hits something. You know, it's
okay,
like
in the most
if a
literal
gun
sense,
wasn't
yes,
a
of course,
tube,
there is
you
a
wouldn't do
tube
anything.
in a gun. Look,
Granny's-
I can't speak to the unenlightened.
Crannies looks at you, Spagg, like a son he never had. Like you speak the language of his lost people.
Damn, I feel like
he
I've made an enemy here.
takes a shining to you, for sure. You have made a friend in Crannies.
Look, don't feel bad about it. Not everyone can understand the greater philosophical understanding that is tube talk. But now, we business calls, business before pleasure. This time it's both, as stated. Wednesday night
Have a
special.
wonderful time at the Ambrosia, my boy. Have a wonderful time.
I hear it's hard not to. Yeah. All right, let's go.
So you wander your way over to the Ambrosia. It is the
Wait,
live.
real quick. I'm gonna head
Mhm.
up to my room. I'm just gonna fucking wash the dust off my nuts. Like we've been out in the bush for a while. I don't know which way this night is gonna go.
Yeah,
You
But
put
it
in
Yeah.
has a
formal
common
tea?
courtesy.
absolutely.
Oh my god.
Date night teeth.
Absolutely, you do that.
Yeah. Do you put on your drinking teeth?
Just the
You
one
put
set.
in your nice teeth.
Oh my god.
I just
For
got
the
the
nice
one
folks?
set of teeth. Well, no, the teeth stay. The teeth stay. They are nice. My bad teeth are the ones that are real. These are fucking chiclets just shining in between my
Oh
lips.
wow, yeah, you absolutely do that. You take a couple moments
It's just,
to
you
wash
know,
the
I
dust
I just want to
off.
establish, and
Yeah.
then we can all head over.
I would drop my gear off in my room and then
Fantastic.
I've
Do you
advised
take-
everybody of what I've
abso-
done. With
Yeah.
the,
I
jar.
absolutely am wearing my pistols though.
Great,
Yeah.
great.
They don't leave my
Uh,
side.
Hass, is there anything you would like to do before heading over to the Ambrosia?
Well, I took my shots. I'm going to drop my gear off. I'm
Yes.
keeping my axe with me, but I put my shawl back on that I
Absolutely.
had before to cover it up. So I look
Yeah.
less intimidating, but other than that, no. No
Wonderful.
ball washing.
No ball washing.
Hass.
There.
I have been informed. I was thinking because, like, you know, I didn't want you to have to pretend that you like these two. And I was like, if you pick a fight, maybe we can get a duel going fair and square. I beat them. I have been informed that that is illegal in this town. It will be considered murder if I kill these two boys in a fair duel. Even if they challenge me, which I think is, you know. But I was gonna say, you don't need to pretend, but I think you might need to pretend, and I'm sorry for that. I do apologize.
Did you inquire how much they could be maimed?
I did not ask about maiming, and I feel like in a fight, if they start the fight and we do a good bit of maiming, I feel like that's fair ground. If they start it, but again, I don't know the legalities of this town. It changes town to town, so I think we should put our best foot forward just to
If
be
it
safe.
does come up as the deputies, they'll be the best people to ask.
Yeah, you can still do stuff with these two missing. So like you're perfectly fine with a couple fingers missing. So just
This
saying.
is why I love traveling with you.
Yeah. And the far outward toes, you chop them off, your balance is all wobbly.
Couple ears. You know how I like the ears.
Yeah, you take some ears. Listen, no one needs ears. The hole does all the work.
So you,
a
as
tube.
you
It's
you
just a tube.
reconvene and you walk
Just
over to the Ambrosia.
We're mostly just tubes when you get down to it.
Everybody's just a tube. You're just bones and tubes.
Bones are just calcium tubes.
I hate Sean's tube theory about our bodies, and it's awful.
So you walk over to down the street from the Cup and Pony to the Ambrosia. The Ambrosia sits at the juncture between the two streets. So where the north-south street meets the east-west, right at that kind of T junction in the center. It takes up like half of a block. It is a huge establishment. It is lively. You can hear music. There are patrons moving in and out. It is Clementine is distractingly small, but if anyone is anywhere, it is at the Ambrosia. At this seems just like a regular evening here at the Ambrosia. So you walk up and inside, and it is, if the Cup and Pony were like the classy, like very business oriented establishment, a more traditional like bar would be, this is lavish. There is velvet here in colors that you have never seen before. Rich jewel tones, velvet curtains, beautiful rugs and antiques, golds, silvers, platinums, everything is shiny and beautiful. And so are the people here. You see the patrons are, businessmen primarily, but some women as well. And then you see a woman move through the room, and you immediately know that this is Madame Zanziva. It could not be anybody else. She's an elegant woman, immaculately dressed in a very stylish yellow and black gown. For any of you who have come in from bigger towns, this would be a style of gown worn most certainly by like very high class society women in big towns. Her hair is piled high on top of her head with a fascinator of feathers and pearls. She moves between the clientele just with ease and grace. It is like she floats about the room. And she would do the terms touching the table. She comes to every table of the clientele and seems to have an anecdote or a laugh for anyone. She moves effortlessly around the room and catches your eye as you walk in. She goes, welcome to the Ambrosia. Please come in.
I just won't get straight down. But I have a note for you.
A note?
Yeah, I just want to make sure I don't
exciting.
forget. I've had a long couple of days, but
She looks around. She goes, a message from me?
Yeah.
Oh, is it from you? Is it
no.
from you?
Oh, I wish it were. It's from a secret admirer. No, it's not. It's from what's his name? This is Adam.
Mr. Cartwright.
This is from Mr. Cartwright.
The tall one or the short one?
That's a great question, and I, Wyatt, do remember that.
Oh, you only met one Mr. Cartwright.
That's a real good question. How tall was the Mr. Cartwright that I met?
He was probably about 5'6".
If I were to hazard a guess, I would say the short one, but I do not know by which standards you ride.
Oh,
Comparative to me, how tall is the tall one? And why it's like 6'1", 6'2".
Oh, yes. Then we are talking about the short one here. And pass it here. Mr. And who am I speaking to? Who are the pleasure am I speaking to? She gestures to you.
Oh, my name is Wyatt Cassidy. It's a pleasure to meet you, ma'am.
Your name rolls out of her mouth like honey.
Yes, ma'am. Oh,
she is enrapturing herself.
I hand the note over.
She extends a hand. Well, come on, the note then. I'm dying.
Dying
to see you.
I apologize. I hand it over.
She opens it immediately, and you watch as the expression on her face changes. But it is masked so quickly. Interesting. Well, if you see Mr. Cartwright, tell him better the devil I know than the devil I don't.
He's giving you issue. I can.
Oh no!
Killing people in this town is such a. Never mind. I won't deal with your problems. I'm sure you're very competent.
Mr. Cassidy, why would you kill people when you can have fun? Please.
Well, some people.
Make yourselves at home.
Everybody has different types of fun.
The Ambrosia welcomes you. Please
I
come
appreciate
in.
that.
Have a seat.
Thank you. These are my companions.
She comes to each of you and almost like takes a tour. She walks around each of you and she goes, well, it is not often we get folks such as yourselves in town. It is a pleasure to have you here. I hope you have a wonderful time.
Spagg would like to take her hand and say, Professor Meeball, at your service, and give her a kiss on her hand.
Can you roll a deception check then?
Well,
are you a professor?
I mean, not legally anymore.
Oh, not anymore. She takes your hand. She goes, a university man? Well,
I've been in an Ivy League or two.
Well, sir, The pleasure is all mine. Please rest yourself. Come in and let us entertain you in a different way.
Okay.
So she walks around all of you, and she when she walks around Marv, she reaches up and she straightens out your burlap poncho slightly and dusts off the shoulders.
So
Much
she's
better.
gonna reach up pretty far to do that.
She's in heels. Oh, absolutely. She is a fountain of a woman. She's delightful.
Marv is visibly kind of uncomfortable in this luxurious space. He's not used to an opulence of any sort in his life.
She puts a hand on your shoulder as she kind of rounds you. She goes, "All are welcome here. Don't be shy."
Do my best.
And then she walks past you, and she goes, "I hope there is someone for you here too, if that is what you choose. All are welcome."
Oh, I don't do that as fast. That's Becca.
Yeah.
I'm just here to flirt with all my
Well,
players.
It hits different than Tim, I gotta say. It's oh.
She's different than any of the characters Tim has flirted you with, so
Yep.
that makes sense.
Yep.
Cass just blushes like aggressively and doesn't say anything, like the ginger she is.
She goes,
Blushing.
She goes, "Rose is a nice color on you, dear." And
Dang, dude.
she sidles you into over to a table. So a server comes by, wonderfully, like with, asks you for drinks. And she heads back to the bar. If you do order a drink.
Yes.
Does anyone order a drink? Yeah.
I want a big fancy one where I'm fucking like dripping with cash. Like,
absolutely. How fancy are we talking? Like, what kind do you want? Like a cocktail? Do you want?
I wanna like look at the person and be like, I would love to try the house specialty, please. Spare no expense, and I'll like tip them a shiny silver dollar.
The server looks at you at the piece of silver you put on the table.
Whatever the equivalent, like a silver dollar in old timey.
Right. Okay. So you tip them well.
Money.
You tip them well. And she goes,
"Whatever good is here, I do that. I have like $1,000, and yesterday I was dirt poor."
She goes, "All right, I can do that for you, absolutely." And she like lingers on your glance just like a moment too long. She is absolutely stunning. She is beautiful. Also wearing a off-the-shoulder jewel-toned green dress that matches her eyes quite well. And you would know that she is a waitress. She is not one of the lovely people of the evening who work here. But she is beautiful also.
Gosh.
People say that a lot about me. And so anything else for you?
Yeah, a whiskey would be lovely. Just doesn't have to be
Are you
anything
spending as
special.
much as he is? Should I bring that kind of whiskey?
Yes, he is, and I'll give her whatever I gave her the first time.
Nah, Spagg, come on now. You don't have to do that.
Look,
it's all
we
right.
can't. My old bones can't carry all the fucking coin we got paid today. It's
My
burning a
dears,
hole right
I
through
have
my
learned
pocket.
one thing working here is that when someone offers to buy you a drink, you take it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Spagg.
And a very tall drink for my other friend here. I'm getting something for Marv. And I know you had 3 in the bar. 3 more shots for this lovely lady.
No.
The good shit.
I point to something on the menu that I
Yes.
saw that's like elaborate and is lit on fire as they bring
Yes.
it over, I hope.
Absolutely.
Very, very sweet.
Sweet and on fire.
Yes.
Wonderful. I can do that. So she takes your money and she heads over to the bar, and you see her lean over the bar and like have a very lovely conversation with the bartender. Is a tall, like dark brown hair gentleman in a crisp suit. Ooh, looks so nice, like a light pinstripe.
Is he hot?
Of course, yes, very hot, very hot.
Did a suit or a vest with those fucking sleeve holders?
Mhm.
See,
Yeah,
I think the thing that Wyatt's having a hard time with is because he's that classic man in white on the white stallion, like
Absolutely.
usually the best looking guy in any town that he passes through, and he's like struggling right now because he's just like, what the fuck?
It is like
You're an 8 among 12s, dude.
Yeah, like no, that's the thing is he's a very good looking dude, but like he's never been amongst this volume of attractiveness, and he doesn't know how to deal with it.
It's a lot. It's overwhelming, and you see that kind of feeling. You can see that there's kind of two groups of folks who would kind of frequent the Ambrosia. There are folks who are here often, and they are used, and they love the lavishness, the over the topness, that like they come here for the show. Essentially, that feeling that you get when someone pays so much attention to you and hangs on every word you say. And then there are folks who are new that are like, oh my God, this is so
That's Marv.
This is so overwhelming. And it's the same kind of feeling that you got when you walked in the Cartwrights and saw all the beautiful horses. There are too many beautiful people here for how small this town is.
I get a weird sense of this town. I don't know about y'all, but they're just like, I don't know.
It's at that point that the Duprees walk in.
Fuck.
And you watch as Zenziva goes over and she extends 2 hands out and each kiss one.
Oh, God, better wash her hands.
And they take her hands and they walk through. There's a little bit of clapping that go around, and they are wearing their badges. They are fully like parading themselves through here, and they go sit at a table that had a reserved sign on it. And she goes, "Oh, boys, you are just in time as always." As she takes almost like a walking stick or like a cane would be, and she taps it twice on the top of the piano, and you hear this like very saucy tune start playing off of the piano. And it is then that the lights dim, the oil lanterns are dimmed, and you watch as a parade comes down the stairs, and you see 9 of the most attractive people you have ever seen. It is uncomfortable how beautiful these people are. You see at the bottom 3 stairs, you see 3 women. One curly brown hair, wearing a beautiful yellow dress. A step up, long black hair, red stained lips in a dark midnight blue dress. And standing just in the middle, a stunningly beautiful red-headed woman in a pink dress. Zenziva announces these 3 as Tulip, Dahlia, and Rose. Coming down the stairs next are 3 masculine presenting individuals. The first, long blonde hair, slender. Middle, curly brown hair, lean, athletic. And the top of the stairs, or the middle of the stairs, you see just like like I can only describe him as like a brick shithouse of a man. Like he is thick and he's exceedingly muscular and tall. And she introduces these as alder, birch, and cedar. And then with a sweep of her hands, she says, "And if gender is not your cup of tea." The last 3 come down the stairs, and you see an individual with black hair coming down to their shoulders and the bluest eyes. Too blue, bluer than any ocean or sky. Introducing them as River. The second, an individual with gray hair intricately braided that runs down the middle of their back, introduced as Ash. And finally, at the top of the stairs, an individual with kind of an auburn hair, tan skin, and freckles, who is introduced as Mesa. And it seems that this happens once or twice a night.
God damn.
And thus, you see as folks start to step forward to purchase an evening with one of the 9 individuals at the Ambrosia.
I have a quick question about the decrees. before we
Yes.
go deeper.
Yes.
Are they also, even though we hate them, are they also weirdly attractive?
Yeah.
God damn!
Mm-hmm.
I don't think these boys could shoot themselves in the foot even if they tried. I don't fucking. This town is weird.
You just have to. It's like the ocean. You just got to let it wash over you. You know. Don't try to fight it. Just let it fill your lungs.
And the piano
It's just like the
continues.
ocean.
That's drowning, Spagg. That's how you die.
Yeah.
The piano
Drowning.
continues its saucy,
Look,
jaunty tune.
when you're in it as deep as we are, you just got to let yourself drown in it, my guy. We are.
All right.
And so the 9 of them make their way down the stairs and start mingling about the room. What would you like to do?
Fuck. Wait, no.
I'm gonna
Sorry.
say, I mean, you can do that if you would like to.
No, we're here on business. We're here for the Duprees. Or
I don't think the Duprees are going to be down here for long. I think we enjoy ourselves and then catch the Duprees on the way out. I myself could use a massage and some conversation. And I do not mean that as a euphemism. I truly could use a massage. How did fucking Southern people say massage?
Massage. That's about
Massage.
it. Yeah.
massage.
Massage.
Anyone catching your eye, Wyatt?
Yeah, I'll approach Tulip.
Okay.
Ma'am.
Hi.
I'm looking for a massage and a conversation. Nothing more than that.
You've done this before?
Yeah, sure. I've been on the road for a while. I just need to take a load off, you know?
All right. Well, here how it works is price is paid up front.
Sure.
We agree on the terms.
Yep.
And you come upstairs.
Absolutely.
All right. You can head on over to the desk. Let him know I sent you.
Sure thing. I head over to the desk. I describe the fact that I want a massage and a conversation. And
Cool.
nothing more. He's very like you
Nothing
tell
more?
that Wyatt is like quite straight laced, so he's just like, this is all I want. Like, I've had my whiskey. I'm very sore from the road. I don't need anything more than that.
There is kind of like a bookkeeper that comes out, seems exceedingly out of place.
This
A very
is more
straight-laced,
transactional than I think I've ever experienced, but
a very straight-laced man with tiny glasses and a book, and he goes, "That's 200 gold pieces."
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. 200 gold. No worries. Ain't nothing but a thing. Yeah, I'll pay the 200 gold. Holy shit. Maybe I should do more than just, no, I agreed to it. Yeah, we've set the terms. Holy.
And she's waiting for you at the bottom of the stairs.
Ma'am,
She offers you her hand.
I take it and God damn.
I hope it's a really good conversation.
No, better be a
No,
good bloody massage. I am sore as a hell. Right, let's how you doing? I'm Wyatt.
I'm Tulip,
Oh, I know.
but you can probably assume that's not my actual name. But
Yeah, I
whatever.
assumed. Quick question. Nah,
Is this to Emma or to Tulip?
no, it's to Tulip, but it's uncouth, so I shall acquiesce. Let's head up.
Wyatt, you've paid for the conversation.
Yeah. Them Dupree boys.
Oh,
Yeah. Maybe we
What
take
about
this
them?
conversation to a private place.
sure. So she takes you upstairs to one of the rooms, and as you walk in, it is like there's just a massage table in the room,
Lovely.
and she goes, "However you wish." She
Yeah.
turns it back.
Of course. Wyatt's gonna strip down. Gun belt still on. Fully naked.
Okay.
The
Gun belt still on.
stays on.
He just lies down on the table.
Wonderful.
And now I
She
find that
folds like a towel over you, like it's very professional. And she grabs some of this like beautiful essential oil off the side, and you show me where. She said, "Where hurts?"
and I just want to say, I know I've had massages before, and they try to be gentle like. I want to hurt. I want to hurt. Because if it ain't hurting, it ain't fixing, you know? So, don't be afraid. Get on up there. Use those elbows,
You look. She looks up, with a smile on her face, and you see a bar in the ceiling.
Oh, hell yeah. That's, you know what? It's starting to be worth it. Now,
She says, "We're not the Ambrosia for nothing."
No, of course. Oh,
And
yeah, that right there is good.
She begins.
Hell.
She takes some. There's a bucket on the side, and she opens it, and some steam releases. And you watch as she places hot stones on your back to start loosening some of the tension. As she just begins to give you a wonderful massage.
Now, it seems to me that those Dupree boys, their heads hit a soft pillow, their lips start moving. So, anything you can tell me about them, too?
Well, I'll tell you, they don't favor me.
Well, hell. Ain't no accounting for taste.
Jetson is quite favorable to Mesa, and Calloway favors Dahlia. They're with them.
Trying to remember. Yep, Mace is the kind of red-headed, kind of freckly one. Which one's Dahlia?
Dahlia has the long
black hair.
Long black hair.
Yeah,
She's usually in a darker dress. Well, he calls her a doll. His doll.
I do not like those boys. Hopefully what we converse stays in this room. Those boys are greasy as hell. Honestly, it's a load off my mind to know that they do not favor you, because for weird personal like hang-ups,
that's understandable.
That's on me. Like, that's on me. That's my oh yeah, right. Oh, god damn.
She you watch as she pulls a step stool over from the table, and she puts her whole elbow weight into your back.
Yeah.
And you keep conversing as the massage goes on. She will fully start up on the table, and she will walk on your back.
Yeah. So he would just see. I would try to see what I can find out just about the general sense of the town, and the sense of the sheriff and the Dupree bros.
Yeah.
But then,
so for brevity,
if nothing kind of comes of that, he would just have a nice conversation, and he would talk about the bandits that he recently encountered and how flexible they were and how off-putting it was. He would basically just thinly veil what happened the other day in reality.
She listens with the patience and understanding of it. She has the right things to say. She asks you the right questions about your work. She doesn't pry too much. She, compliments how strained your muscles are, that you must have been working really hard. And she's glad that you're here. She talks about how Jetson and Calloway are here quite often.
That tracks.
Probably 3 or 4 nights a week.
Yep.
They're here more than they should be on a deputy's salary. That's always struck her as kind of odd. How can they afford?
It ain't cheap here.
That. She's like, should it be cheap?
Oh, no, of course not. I'm just saying, them boys, do you know who their daddy is, or their...
I've never met their family. They're without family here.
They're from out of town.
They were brought in when Pal came on as sheriff.
Oh, they served Pal?
Originally, yeah.
And they seemed quick to kind of put him away?
They're the deputies. They don't really have that much choice, I guess. I don't
They seem to
know
be
much
enjoying
about
themselves.
Yeah.
Can I ask maybe a strange question?
Try me.
Everything in this town's kind of weirdly beautiful. I gone through a lot of towns in the nearby area. A lot of people don't have, folk, fine looking folk, but missing teeth, broken noses, the sort. Why?
She stops. I think that's because folks who come here find a reason to stay, and tends to draw beauty in amongst the nothingness. There's so much nothing out there.
Oh, don't I know it? Don't I know it? Does the word the Shoth mean anything to you? And at this point, I look back and try to catch a reaction to that.
She pauses. Her hands stop moving when you say the Shoth. Who told you that? name.
Oh, I see. I struck a nerve.
No, not with me. Not with me. I've heard it whispered.
Yeah.
Behind doors.
The
hear.
miners?
No. A couple of people who work here. A couple of us. Not me. I couldn't. The voices were too quiet, but...
How recently?
A couple weeks ago.
When did the mine issue happen?
3 weeks ago.
Right. And so it started a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
I heard the name whispered behind Dahlia's door.
Wow, the brothers Dupree were there?
I don't know. I only heard her voice say it.
Okay.
I don't, is it dangerous? Should I be worried? Should I tell Madame Zanziva?
I might have a word with Madame Zanziva myself.
She puts a hand on your arm. She's like, Wyatt, Mr. Cassidy,
Wyatt's just fine.
There's not much hope out there for a girl like me, from what I come from. This is the best place I've ever been. And even though a lot of people might not think so or look down on us for our line of work, I quite like my job. I don't want anything bad to happen here. I need this place.
I get that. I get both those sentiments. There's not a lot of folks that look kindly upon what I do for a living, so.
Well, that makes two of us.
But I also enjoy what I do.
That makes two of us.
There ain't no need for panic right now. Just know the folks are dealing with what they're dealing with. But
And when you say folks, you mean you?
I mean, not myself alone, but I am involved in it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, will you just come back and keep me posted?
Of course. I mean, I'm gonna lie. I'm feeling a little out of my depths because my whole thing is like I'm very quick with the guns, very fast-handed. Ain't been a lot of things to shoot lately, and I'm other than those bandits, those terrible flexible bandits. I put my head back down, but trying like on the thing.
So you spend the next hour and a half just like chatting and like loosening the stress of the day before she kind of moves her hands back. Is there anything else I can do for you?
Oh, that was perfect. Thank you very much.
She puts a hand on your arm. She goes, you sure?
I feel like Wyatt blushes in this moment.
So does she, a little bit.
I wouldn't say no to a little extra company.
She locks the door.
I don't want anyone getting in trouble on my account, though, so.
She goes, I set my time.
Alrighty.
And we will fade to black on that one. We don't need to play that at the table. We played to black on that one. She took a shining to you. She likes you. Anything? So Wyatt has been gone for a while. Anything else that you folks would like to do downstairs? Or once he leaves, anything else you folks would like to do?
Once he leaves, I'm a little tipsy at this point.
I love that. Please tell me exactly what Hass does when she's tipsy.
And Jetson and Calloway are gross. Super gross. But they really undressed her with their eyes earlier. She's quite striking. She's a type, she's a strong woman, but she's quite striking.
That was Calloway who undressed you with his eyes.
So she's going to
sorry, my mistake. Jetson. My mistake.
So she's gonna grab a couple shots of whiskey from the bar and walk over to Jetson and just look at him and hand him one without saying anything.
He looks down at the shot and looks up at you with just this like wicked grin on his face, and he goes, seat is yours. To what do I owe the pleasure?
We got off on the wrong foot. But
Maybe.
I can't deny that I was happy to see you again.
Yo, Hass knows how to turn it on.
I'm going to roll an insight check to see if he believes you.
Okay.
And I'll let you roll either a persuasion or deception check. You do not have to tell me which one.
Yeah, Hass is banking on the fact that Jetson really thinks he's good looking, so this shouldn't be surprising to him.
We've all met men like Jetson and Calloway.
So sorry, what are my two options?
Persuasion.
Perception or persuasion or deception. Your choice. Don't tell me which one.
Oh no.
What'd you roll?
Why?
Is that a 1?
It was a 2, but I get +4, so a 6.
Okay. He also rolled very low. I would like to say the dice told a story on that one that maybe Hass isn't as good as she thinks she is at lying, but he also doesn't care what brought this woman over to the table.
Oh my god.
Well, you are one of the most striking women that I have ever had the pleasure of meeting, and I come here regularly.
I can't deny that I've gotten that before, but glad
I'm
to
sure
hear.
you have.
Now, tell me how a person like you got into a town like this.
Wow, it's not that impressive of a story. I was a bailiff with my brother in a bigger city, and we did well enough. And we got moved here when there was an opening for new sheriff and bailiffs. We were here with Sheriff Wildblood, but you know what happened to him. Not made of the right stuff, not cut of the right cloth for this job.
And you stayed for all the beauty here?
I am a man of the law, my dear. I have to stay.
I feel very protected.
He reaches, he's a bold one. Are your legs crossed under the table?
Yes.
He reaches a hand down to your thigh.
How about we have another drink?
I would love nothing more. Tell me everything about you.
I'm no fun. I want to hear more about you.
He drinks the drink.
Yeah, this guy fucking loves to
Yeah,
talk
this
about
guy loves
himself.
talking about himself.
No, I dropped that dice.
This guy could spend 4 hours talking about the particular cut of boot he wears.
Absolutely.
So Becca, D&D wise, is such a fucking power play, and well done.
Well done.
Well done.
So he wow. Okay, we're going there. He grabs your thigh and he puts it up across his leg under the table.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yucky
And
man.
he begins to tell, he's a yucky man.
I am so glad that Hass wears leggings underneath her dress because of utility.
Of utility leggings. We've never been more thankful for utility leggings ever. He, for the sake of brevity, because we're getting later in the evening and I want to give you this information, he tells you about how he and Jetson have been here for a while. They don't mind it. They miss the city. They find the city absolutely fascinating, but they feel called to Clementine for the work. He talks to you a little bit about how cowardly he thought the Reverend or Dr. Tam Clampton was for running off after the terrible collapse in the mine. He's like, puts a hand over his heart. He's really putting it on about the mine and the collapse. He talks about how the previous sheriff before Pal got shot in the middle of a standoff. So Pal came from one of the cities out west, and they had known Pal. And when they heard that Pal had had a sheriffdom given to him, they asked to be transferred to Clementine together. Wherever you get the sense that wherever Jetson goes, Calloway is not far as well. And through the whole conversation, he is like, there are like compliments that are that's like yucky, like he's a yucky boy. And his hand just creeps up your lower calf.
And Hass is giggling.
I love
She's
it.
doing some little giggles.
I love it.
You know, there was a time in her life where she had to do this.
Yeah, she's putting it on, and he fully believes it. He believes that you are absolutely enraptured with him.
I don't know what the layout of the room is.
Yeah.
But if, like, I don't know about Slender Marv, but Spagg has not sort of left the table or whatever. So if we are within sight range of
you are,
Hass,
yes.
they are 100% just watching for any cues that Hass might give to you know, we're waiting on Hass, and we're just enjoying our very, very fancy drinks.
They're so fancy. They're so fancy, and they're delicious. They're very alcoholic, like exceedingly alcoholic.
But yes, if Hass needs anything, Marv, you down for this plan?
Oh yeah, I'm still at the table, kind of eyeballing the situation here.
Yeah, or backup if you need it. If you need it, we got you.
But
while
the dust off his nuts for nothing.
While Hass is having this conversation, it takes
Business
some time.
first.
It takes some time. Some of the other folks wander by. Some of the other folks available for the evening wander by your table. You would see Dahlia come by. Rose would make a pass by. Birch and Alder, as well as River.
I was just gonna. Marv is more interested in the comings and goings on this main floor here, and doesn't have any intent to do more than enjoy his drink and kind of just take in what's going on. He's looking for anybody that seems to be, I guess, out of place or behaving in a way that doesn't fit with the rest of the vibe of this place. Particularly,
he sees himself in a mirror.
Yeah, pretty much. Keeping an eye on the Duprees in particular. Obviously, I'm not privy to the conversation that's going on. To just kind of, they strike me as the wrong kind of people.
Yeah,
I'm looking for an opportunity to take a certain action. I don't think it's come up yet.
Okay. After Dahlia makes a pass of your table, she kind of would just glad hand the table and check in that you're doing okay and make polite conversation with you. What's your passive perception?
20.
Spagg?
Oh,
not
4
that.
wisdom, Spagg.
7.
You would watch as Marv, you would see as Dahlia is just quickly chatting with Spagg, you would see Calloway's eyes narrow as he sees Dahlia at your table.
Okay,
and his eyes are locked on her.
I'm just gonna give Spagg a little kick under the table, interrupt his conversation just enough. And I'll
what do you see when I do this? What do you think that is?
Do you really want me to answer that, sir?
Well, it's more of a. Oh, sorry. What? Yeah. And that's when I get the kick.
Sorry.
What do you want? He says to Marv.
I'll just kind of like.
I'm tube talking.
Tube talk. I'll kind of flick my eyes over to the table where Haas is talking with the Duprees, and just kind of flick my eyes back to Dahlia and give you a bit of a smirk, trying to convey.
What do you want? I follow your eyes and I see fucking what's his nuts glower. I'm like, what's your fucking problem? What? I don't know what's happening here. I have 4 wisdom.
And I'll just kind of shake my head and I'll like rub my temples, like basically like I should have fucking known better than this. And I'll clap Spagg on the shoulder, and I'll get up and I'll take my leave, and I'll leave them some space. But as I'm kind of walking away from the table, I want the Dupree table to see me.
Yeah.
And I want to kind of make a face like, yeah, my buddy's gonna, score here, and
Right.
make it really obvious that something good is happening at the table, and I am excusing myself to make space for the occurrence.
Okay.
And I'll kind of wind my way through towards the bar, or kind of the far side of
So
the,
as Marv leaves, Dahlia looks back at you, Spagg, and she sits down, and she kind of like drapes herself across the table, and her hands, your fingers brush against yours, and I'm gonna need you to make a wisdom saving throw, please.
Oh boy, how low is that number? Wisdom saving.
we get a
Come on, baby
-1.
boy. Come on, baby boy. Okay.
What's the natural number on the dice?
The natural number is 14.
Oh, that's pretty
but
good.
before you say anything,
Okay.
he is on a job and Spagg gets the job done.
Yes.
And so he feels the fluster sort of he just feels influence on this woman, and he needs to ground himself.
Yes.
And so he is going to grit his teeth.
Yes.
And one of those teeth cracks, and there is stuff in it. And he just gets a rush of chemicals through his body that just is going to hopefully center him enough, as with the Pact of the Talisman, he is going to add a D4 to a saving throw.
Okay, go for it.
That's amazing.
And that's going to be an 18, as he just like feels it, and he just like grits his jaw, and like his pupils go real tiny for a second and then mellow out as he just like exhales, and there's just like a little bit of vapor on his breath.
She looks at you, and we were wondering when you were going to come by. Why are you here?
Well, I've been out on the road, and I figured I'd get done and dusted, and well, no, that's gross. I'm sorry. We had some business here, brought us around, and you can't stay in this town without coming to the Ambrosia. Who'd you hear we were coming from?
She smiles. She pats your hand. She goes, everyone goes home eventually. And with that, you hear a cacophony outside on the street. You hear a rumbling, the windows of the Ambrosia shaking. You hear screaming. You hear the ripping of wood, the breaking of glass, and the gunfire coming from right outside the door. And that is where we are going to end it tonight.
Oh, no.
Wyatt's out on the top landing, butt naked, guns in hand.
The belt never came off.
No, the belt came off. The belt came off. But
Yeah,
it's back
eventually
on.
it did.
It's back on.
Thank you all
Wow.
so much for hanging out in the West with us this evening. This campaign happens once a month on the third Wednesday of every month.
Too far away. I want to play
Too far away. Please come hang out with us in our Discord. Go follow us on YouTube. And we will be back on Saturday with our main campaign, where we are winning D&D fully.
We're having a bad time.
No, it's fine. It's going to be fine. It's fine.
Super
It's fine.
great.
Everything's fine.
So how do we say goodnight here on the show? Every show has a way that we say goodnight. Do we tip our hats? What do we do?
I don't know if we found it yet. We don't have to force it.
Good
We tip our
afternoon.
I'm going to tip my hat and say good evening to all of you.
Good
and
evening,
have
y'all.
a wonderful night. We will see you on Saturday.
Lose your
Bye.
bones.
Lose your bones, you guys. Bye.
Lose your bones.
So good.
We got a lot